After 3 days of clouds and rain, the sun is shining and we have perfect weather for baseball here today as the Harwich Mariners welcome in the Chatham Anglers for Game 6 of the 2021 CCBL season. The temperatures aren't the only thing that's heated up over the past few days after the Harwich Bats put up 11 on Falmouth last night in an 11-9 victory that puts the M's on the doorstep of an early return to 500. Hello everybody and welcome into the broadcast booth here at White House Field. I'm Tyler Henry, joined today by my broadcast partner Colin Casey as we get set for baseball on a gorgeous Sunday evening. And Colin, we've seen the Mariners light up the scoreboard and we've seen them shut down opposing bats. Today just kind of feels like the right day for the M's to put it all together and get the full package on the field today.
It certainly does, especially after the encouraging signs from the offense yesterday with an 11-run outburst, a couple of home runs from Brock Wilkin as well as Aaron McKeithen. So great to see the power start to come in. But one of the things you actually tweeted about earlier is the great walk to strikeout ratio that these Mariners hitters have. It's actually the best right now in the entire Cape League. They apply this to a really good Chatham pitching staff. You might be able to string together another win and try to get a little bit of a winning streak going.
Absolutely. Of course, fans of high-scoring games may want to tune in elsewhere as the team with the second lowest ERA in the Cape and the Anglers come down here to Harwich to take on the team with the second most strikeouts as a pitching staff per game here in the Mariners. And Colin, we could certainly be in for a very quick game today if those stats hold up.
We certainly could. And it would be the complete opposite of what we saw in Falmouth as that game really kind of went on and on with 20 combined runs scored. But I like where both teams are at pitching-wise, and for the second time this Cape season, Nick Cinnacola trying to build off of that first start. Ended up with a loss, but still a really solid start for Orleans considering he hasn't really faced this caliber lineup that he has over at the University of Maine.
Absolutely. Cinnacola out there on the bump, ready for the first pitch, and he will deliver it home now. A swing and a miss to the leadoff man here in Cam Chick. Really quickly, one last programming note for everybody tuning in at home. We are in the process of troubleshooting some issues with our video. We'll work to restore that as soon as possible, but in the meantime, we're happy to bring you this game in a radio format as the second pitch misses down and in. And we continue to thank you for your continued patience as we work our way through some of the early bugs this season. Again, I know it's been rough kind of all across the Cape, but we're doing our best, and we'll have things back up and running with video as soon as humanly possible. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup here for the Chatham A's. Cinnacola delivers a ball to make it a 2-1 count here on Cam Chick. Chick leads things off out in left field, followed by the shortstop Josh Rivera, then first baseman Caden Grice, and your cleanup hitter today, right fielder Lyle Miller-Green. Next pitch on the way. That'll miss up and out, and it's a 3-1 count here to Cam Chick. Your 5-hole hitter today, center fielder Caden Trinkle, followed by DH Michael Brown, third baseman Andrew Benefield, catcher John Michael Fail, and second baseman Matthew Garcia. Nick Cinnacola getting his second start here for the Harwich Mariners. The righty kicks and fires, and that one is in there for a called strike. That'll fill the count as Chick thought about tossing his bat off to the dugout, decides to leave it back, and we've got a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes for Cinnacola. Rocks into the windup, brings home the pitch, and it's in there. Called strike 3. Tossing his bat back to the dugout and jogging halfway to first was Cam Chick. He'll have to go collect the wood and walk back to the dugout. The walk of shame there as he gets punched out by the home plate umpire, and that will bring up Josh Rivera.
Yeah, nasty-looking curveball from Cinnacola catches the inside corner. Good start, especially considering how, that first start against Orleans went a little bit south.
Absolutely. Cinnacola will deliver the first pitch here. It's just outside for a ball to shortstop Josh Rivera. Next pitch on the way. This one will miss upstairs. That'll give us an opportunity to introduce you to your umpiring crew today. Calling the balls and strikes behind the plate, it'll be Larry Rosenberg. Over at first, John LeBone, and third base umpire Lou DeLucy. A 2-0 count right now on Josh Rivera after the strikeout. Cinnacola looking to bounce back. The 2-0. Breaking ball misses just outside, and the count goes to 3-0.
This Chatham lineup could use a big day. Just hitting .219 collectively as a team, so haven't had the bats going so far this season.
Yep, certainly something that a lot of teams are working through the early part of the season as Nick Cinnacola will issue a 4-pitch walk here to Josh Rivera. So the first man aboard here for the Chatham A's is Rivera. That'll bring up Caden Grice and give us an opportunity to set your defense here for the Harwich Mariners. Tatum Levens gets the start behind the dish. Carter Putz, the new addition from Notre Dame, gets the start at first base. Hal Hughes at second, the other newbie from Notre Dame in Zach Preisner gets the start at shortstop. Brock Wilkin moving over from first to third today. Your outfield, Cade Beloso in left, Ben Malgeri in center, and Nick Lucky out in right as another off-speed pitch gets a big swing and a miss here from Grice, who falls behind 0-1.
Grice out of Clemson University hit really well this past spring. 317, 15 long balls, 53 runs batted in 52 games.
Yep, another guy trying to get things going here for an Anglers team that has had it going pitching-wise, but has fallen behind here on offense. As falling behind in the count is Caden Grice. It's an 0-2 here to Nick Cinnacola.
Certainly translated the Cape as well. 389 so far in the Cape with 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in.
Absolutely. A good start to Cinnacola this season. Looking for another punch out here ahead 0-2. See if he goes right at him. He comes in and hits him instead. That'll go off the cleat of Caden Grice. Puts runners at first and second here for the A's with 1 away in the top of the first.
Yeah, a little bit of control issues for Cinnacola. We saw it in that Orleans game. He did walk a couple of batters over his 4 innings, so still something that he's trying to hone in. And now he's got himself in a bit of a pickle with the cleanup hitter stepping in.
Yep, Lyle Miller Green will stand in now for the Anglers. I believe the first right-handed bat that we've seen in this lineup so far. 3 lefties at the top of the order here for Tom Holliday. Of course, Holliday has spent plenty of time around the CCBL. One of the veteran managers here. Hoping his team can jump out to an early lead. First pitch, fastball comes in at 89. That'll miss up and in. Count starts off at 1-0. And Cinnacola looked pretty good in his debut. Comes into this game with a 4.5 ERA, 4 innings pitched. 4 strikeouts compared to just the 2 walks, and he did give up those 3 runs, as you mentioned, Colin. Right now trying to work his way back, a 1-0 count. Comes set, brings home the pitch. Big swing and a miss there. Pulled the string, rather, on the cleanup hitter Lyle Miller Green, and he's battled back to a 1-1 count.
And, of course, Cinnacola making his second start. We're going to start to see this Harwich Mariners rotation really take shape over the next few games as these guys get a little bit more comfortable. The first time through was pretty solid, all things considered. The second time through be a make or break for some of these guys.
Absolutely. 1-1 pitch. That'll be a called strike by the home plate umpire. Strike, says Larry Rosenberg. And the count is 1-2. And this is what we heard from Coach Berger after the first start as well. He said that they've got to the pitchers have to do a better job of getting ahead in counts. And so far when they've done that, Colin, they've had a lot of success. As Cinnacola will work here with a 1-2 count. Working out of the stretch now is Nick Cinnacola. Checks the runner back to second, brings home the 1-2. That'll miss down and away in the dirt. Good stop there by Levens.
Today being one of the hotter games we've seen so far this year. The temperature's been in the mid-80s for most of the afternoon.
Yeah, it's one of those days that, again, the photos from today are going to look really nice. But it is very muggy out there. The real feel is what'll get you. Cinnacola delivers the 2-2. That'll miss outside. Another full count worked here this time by Lyle Miller Green. I had to double check when I looked because, of course, we always write the weather down before the game. Amazingly enough, it's only 75 degrees here in Harwich, but it feels a lot hotter. The real feel is about 80 to 83, and again, that mugginess, even for the Cape, it feels kind of like you're wading through the atmosphere, just trying to walk around White House today. 3 balls, 2 strikes, runners on first and second. Still here in the top half of the first. Nick Cinnacola looks back to second, brings home the payoff pitch, and it's in there. Strike 3, back-to-back looking Ks, or rather looking Ks for the first 2 outs of the inning, and now he will try to retire Caden Trinkle, who stands in as the 5-hole hitter today.
Yeah, so far, no harm done despite the walk-in hit-by pitch, but the one thing I'm a little concerned about with Cinnacola is it's taking him a lot of pitches to get these angler batters out. Ran the count full against Chick to lead off the inning, another full count, but to his credit, he battled and won both those battles.
Absolutely. Something we saw a couple of days ago, a very similar situation. We'll revisit that as he gets a swing and a miss on a fastball here by Caden Trinkle, but you know, it felt like that was basically the same situation. I believe it was between Andrew Mosiello and Hunter Omlid. Just a lot of, or Hunter Omlid, sorry, but a lot of long counts and both pitchers knocked out after the first 3 innings. Cinnacola brings home the 0-1. This comes inside and he hits another batter. Same pitch, same spot, same result. Gets the cleat this time of Caden Trinkle, and the bases are loaded for the DH Michael Brown.
Trying to establish the inside part of the plate, but that's now twice that he's lost control. And with the bases loaded and 2 away, Chatham quickly finding themselves in a situation where they can strike first, which has been really important for opposing teams against Harwich this season. We saw what happened yesterday when Falmouth fell behind. Even a big inning didn't let them get back in the game. Chatham can get the lead early on the road. Look out.
Yeah, big chance here for the Anglers, who are currently sitting atop the Eastern Conference, Eastern Division, depending on how you want to look at it. Just the East and the West here in the CCBL. First pitch on the way. That'll miss up around the letters, and also give us an opportunity to get you a look at what we're seeing from up here in the press box. Harwich rocking the cream unis with the navy numerals, tops and bottoms. Navy numerals trimmed in red. Chatham sporting, I believe, new jerseys. I have not seen these before. They were not here in 2019. Big swing and a miss here by Michael Brown. Gray pants, black jerseys, red numerals trimmed in white with a little blue stripe down the inside.
Interestingly enough for Brown, he's appeared in 3 games. He's only had 1 official at-bat, but he did reach via a base hit in that at-bat.
Clearly enough for Tom Holliday to put him in here as the DH, and an opportunity to deliver as he takes the ball inside. Count goes now to 2-1. And Cinnacola, he looks really good when he's on, but every now and then, again, you mentioned there's a batter or two that he'll kind of just let slip away. That's what we saw in the opener against Orleans, and it's kind of been the same story here, as he finds himself in a jam here. 2 away, bases loaded, top of the first, still no score here from White House Field. But with the bases loaded, Cinnacola free to work out of the windup. The 2-1. Big swing and a miss once again, and he has got Michael Brown right where he wants him. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
This will be the 25th pitch of the inning for Cinnacola, so not doing himself a whole lot of favors in terms of, the longevity of his start, but as long as you put up zeros, I don't think anyone's going to complain.
Well, and how about this, Colin? At this point in the season, Nick Cinnacola just 3 walks, but he's hit 4 batters. The 2-2. Misses off the outside part of the plate. Trying to get Michael Brown to chase. Brown will leave it outside, and we've got a full count. Bases loaded. Still very early in the game, but a big opportunity here for Chatham to try to break things wide open.
Especially on a ball in the gap with the runners going with a full count and 2 outs.
Absolutely.
Could feasibly played all 3 runs.
Yep. Big opportunity coming up here. It all hinges on this next pitch unless it can be spoiled here by Brown. He stands in. Cinnacola working out of the windup. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, bases loaded. Everyone goes. Pitch on the way, and that'll miss upstairs. So a walk will bring in the first run of the day as Josh Rivera comes in, and it's a 1-0 ball game in favor of Chatham.
And that's going to bring Steve Engler out to talk with his pitcher. Not good to see that type of control issues with 3 walks and a couple hit-by pitches, and important thing here is to calm your pitcher down and get him to refocus and get out of the inning with just 1 run home.
Well, and again, to put it as a very technical term, if you want to look at it from this perspective, Colin, bases loaded, 2 away, 1 run has already come in. Chatham doesn't have a hit yet.
Yeah, a lot of unforced errors right now done by Nick Cinnacola, and we know he's capable of being a real strikeout pitcher, so it's tough to see him struggle with the command early on. But again, as long as he can get out of this inning, can refocus, clean slate in the second inning, maybe have the Mariners bats get going in the bottom half of the inning, you just got to take it 1 step at a time. Right now you can't panic even if you're in a tough situation that has been mostly, actually entirely self-inflicted.
Yep. First pitch comes in here to Andrew Benefield, and that'll be off the plate for a ball here. Benefield from Dallas Baptist, actually one of the few guys in this league that I had a chance to cover throughout the course of the 2021 season working with the Northern Colorado Bears. That Dallas Baptist team had some pretty good outings. The 1-0 pitch is on the way, check swing, and that'll be in there for a strike. Count goes to 1-1. They say enough for him to go around. So Benefield, again, in the same spot, 2 away in the inning, trying to make something happen here for the Anglers, who lead at 1-0. Cinnacola comes set. A lot of pressure right now. Pitch on the way. And that'll miss down and outside. Ball 2. And it's a 2-1 count here to Benefield.
Benefield relatively new to this Chatham team. Just 2 at-bats so far this season with 1 game played. But he did drive in a run. And on top of that, he walked twice.
Yep, plenty of opportunities coming. Still looking for his first hit of the CCBL season. This would be an excellent time to get it, and just as I say that, he hits one high and deep into the tree line. It's a grand slam. Welcome to the Cape, Andrew Benfield, and just like that, it is a 5-0 ball game.
Well, I think we know why a lot of Chatham fans were excited about this guy when he arrived here on the Cape. I mean, he got all of that one out towards left center field. There wasn't a question as Beloso took one step and just looked up as it soared into the trees behind the fence at White House Field. Really brutal start for the Mariners. Chatham taking advantage of every opportunity they've gotten in this first inning.
I mean, there are no doubt home runs. That was on another level. I have not seen a ball hit to the tree line since Nico Cavadas in 2019. That is not an easy task. And again, I mean, the call took a little bit longer because we had to wait for it to come down. Here comes the 0-1 to John Michael Fail. And the count goes here to 0-2. Cinnacola gets ahead, continuing to work out of the windup, but he's got to be feeling the pressure again. A 5 spot put up here by the Anglers in the top of the first.
Yeah, and of course, again, we apologize for no video on our stream, but I'm sure for those of you listening at home, you could hear the crack of the bat as soon as he made contact with that one, and you knew just by the sound that that ball was going a long way.
1-2 pitch. That'll miss outside. Count even at 2 apiece here. Harwich is going to have some work to do on the other side of the break, Colin. Already down by 5, and they haven't had a chance to come up to the plate yet. Cinnacola continuing to work out of the windup here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. This one swung on and hit high in the air, getting well under this. Nick Lucky chasing it from right. Malgiri settles under it in center, and he'll make the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. But not before an Andrew Benefield grand slam puts the Anglers up 5-0. Harwich will get their first at-bats when we come back. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey, and Colin, Mariners are going to have some work to do. Down 5-0 here as we head to the home half of inning number 1.
Yeah, now they know how the Falmouth Commodores felt last night as they were on the road. Just one bad inning, and from a reliable pitcher, Nick Cinnacola, just couldn't find the zone, and once he finally did, it was to a really dangerous hitter in Andrew Benefield, and he made him pay. So just have to brush it off. You know, the Mariners lineup's coming in with a lot of momentum themselves, putting up 11 runs last night. Just got to channel that same energy, and hey, you can climb back in this game, but they're also going against a guy who knows what it takes to pitch well here in Cape Cod.
Absolutely. Pitcher today for the Chatham Anglers will be Austin Vernon. And I'll tell you what, I want to make one comment. Before we get into the stats and everything else that he's done since his last outing here in the Cape, Austin Vernon looks good. And we heard pregame, he's lost about 45 pounds from 2019 to now, and it has greatly improved his pitching as well. His numbers are up. They were up in 2019, and they're up here in the Cape as he is one of the top starters here for an Anglers team that, again, boasts one of the best ERAs in the CCBL.
Yeah, he lost weight, and yet he's still listed at 6'7", 280, so he still is just a real menacing figure on the mound. big test for the Mariners, especially being down 5 early.
Yep, this is where you test your mettle, and this is where you find out what you're made of mentally, as Nick Lucky will be the leadoff man here for the M's. First pitch is a swinging strike at 92 miles an hour. He gets the fastball by him. Your lineup looks like this today for the M's. Lucky gets the leadoff spot out in right field, then DH Josh Hood, third baseman Brock Wilkin, and left fielder Cade Beloso, your your cleanup hitter today, batting out in left. Strike 2 on Lucky here. Carter Putz hits in the 5-hole, then catcher Tatum Levens, shortstop Zach Preisner, center fielder Ben Malgiri, and second baseman Hal Hughes. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And Austin Vernon off to a hot start here, Colin. 3 pitches, 1 strikeout, 1 batter set down. Great start here for Vernon.
Yeah, he set down Nick Lucky with the fastball that time, just challenging him right over the plate at 93. Lucky unable to catch up to it.
So it'll be up to Josh Hood here to try to get things started for the M's. Again, trailing by 5 here early. Vernon from the windup. First pitch to him. Fastball again at 92 on the outside part of the plate. He is really locating that fastball here early, Colin. 3 of his first 4 pitches, he's gone to that fastball.
Yeah, certainly the pitch that he likes to favor. He's a big-time power pitcher.
Talking about a guy that's that tall coming downhill. Here's a ball chopped to short, picked up by Rivera. Long throw and a high throw. It'll pull him off the bag, and they say that he came down, Correction, we'll get you an update here in just a moment. But again, the first baseman comes down, makes the tag, and that is out number 2.
Yeah, it was Grice over at first base who had to reel in the high throw from Josh Rivera, caught it, and just slapped the tag down on Josh Hood. A really tough play for a first baseman to make, especially a lefty first baseman. But he showed off his athleticism there, and a big out number 2 for the A's.
So the next batter up is Brock Wilkin. He'll take the first ball issued at any point during this game by Austin Vernon through the first 2 batters, and it's a 1-0 count. Of course, many of you may not know this. Many of you may think we're a lot smarter than we actually are, as the 1-0 is tipped foul. We have scorebooks that have basically anything that we could think of that we might need for notes and whatnot. We also have defensive alignment, so imagine my surprise when I looked down and saw that Carter Putz was listed on my scorebook in my writing as the first baseman for both teams. Of course, Grice getting the start over at first base as this one's in there for a strike. And that'll give us a perfect opportunity to introduce you to the starting defenders here for the Chatham A's. Fail gets the start behind the plate. Grice at first, Garcia at second, Rivera at short, Benefield at third, Chick in left, Trinkle in center, and Miller Green, your starting right fielder for the Anglers today, as this pitch misses in the count even at 2-2.
If anyone's going to get the Mariners' bats going, it's this guy, Brock Wilkin, who hit a towering home run in Falmouth last night.
Certainly. He'll take a fastball down. It looked like Vernon reached back for a little something extra there, but he came up about 2 miles an hour off of what he typically throws on the fastball, just 90, and he misses it well in the dirt.
Yeah, it looked like he might have been losing the grip on the ball because immediately after that he went behind the mound and grabbed the bag of rosin.
Full count here for Brock Wilkin. Payoff pitch. And that is in there for a called strike 3, and that will end the inning. Wilkin not happy about it, but knows how to choose his battles. He'll head back to the dugout, and the M's will head back out into the field. Still a 5-0 lead for Chatham. We'll step away when we come back. More Mariners baseball you're watching here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey, M's with some work to do right now, trying to keep runs off the board. And Colin, the number that juts out to me, the 2 numbers side by side on the scoreboard for the Chatham Anglers: 5 runs, 1 hit. And of course, that hit a grand slam over the left field fence. But you put runners on for free, they're gonna find a way to hurt you, and that has been the storyline here through 1.
Yep, 3 walks and a pair of hit by pitches. I'm sorry, actually it was 2 and 2. So 2 walks, 2 hit batters, and then the big swing by Andrew Benefield to make it a 5-run game. It's tough. It's tough to put your team in a hole like that, but if you're Cinnacola, your manager has the confidence to put you back out there. Time to bounce back.
Yeah, and not just the confidence to put him back out there. Cinnacola gets first pitch strike by Matthew Garcia, but also nobody up and warming right now in the Harwich bullpen. So it is still Cinnacola's game, very much so. And I think that's very important here early in the season, as Cinnacola misses inside to even the count at 1-1. Especially here at the beginning of the year when you're trying to settle into some kind of a groove on the Cape. You know, if you pull your starter in a situation like this early in the year, that can really rattle guys. We've seen that with other teams whose coaches are not quite as lenient. So Cinnacola back out. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to the 9-hole hitter. That'll be in there for a called strike, a fastball at 88. And Matthew Garcia falls behind in the count 1-2. Of course, Nick Cinnacola didn't have a chance to get you this note back in the first inning, but a 4-pitch guy as the 1-2 is swung on and golfed at. It'll be picked up there by Levins, who throws down to first, and that is strikeout number 3 on the day for Nick Cinnacola as Matthew Garcia breaks out the 9-iron, trying to put himself on the green and comes up empty.
Yeah, and even with Cinnacola struggling with command in that first inning, we always know what we're going to get out of him, and that's a lot of strikeouts. In the 12 starts he made for Maine in the spring, struck out 10 or more batters 11 times. So he's a guy who knows how to get outs on his own, and he's gotten 3 so far in this one.
Absolutely. First pitch is a strike delivered here to Cam Chick, who he retired via the strikeout back in inning number 1, as he will now see the Chatham Anglers line up for a second time. From the windup, Cinnacola's 0-1 big swing and a miss there by Chick, and he's out ahead 0-2. And Colin, this is more what we're accustomed to seeing out of Cinnacola. Keep in mind the 2 batters he hit, he was ahead in the count.
Now he's really challenging batters. He's not trying to nibble on the corners. He's going right after these Angler hitters.
0-2, swing and a miss. Got him swinging. Cam Chick down on strikes for a second time today. Strikeout number 4 on the day for Nick Cinnacola. And this is why you see Steve Angler leave him out there. Has confidence in his guy to get the job done, and he bounces back here looking confident as ever with another inning of work.
Yeah, looking like a totally new guy out there after the grand slam in the first inning. Just going right back to work and keeping his head down.
So he'll face Josh Rivera for a second time. Rivera gets a piece of this, fouls it back to the screen, and the count will start here at 0-1. I don't know that he's issued a ball, maybe one, this entire inning. Pretty much everything has been in the zone. Not afraid to go right at the Anglers lineup here. So here we go. The 0-1 pitch. Half-hearted check swing. Doesn't matter. It was in the zone. And I was about to mention his pitching repertoire. Looking in the toolkit here of Cinnacola. A fastball between 90 and 92. A slider. A split change. This ball swung on and taken high out to straightaway center field. Easy from Algier. He takes about 6 steps to his left and gloves it for out number 3. So a quick 1-2-3 inning, but Chatham still up on top, 5-0. We will take a break. When we come back, the M's trying to cut into that lead. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to White House Field. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey. The Mariners will have the middle part of the order due up here. Cade Beloso, Carter Putz, and Tatum Levins. And Colin, Putz really did get off to a great start yesterday. A 3-for-3 day for the Fighting Irish alum, and trying to help Harwich here get on the board as they trail 5-0 here in the second.
Yeah, those Notre Dame guys have made a difference already. Him and his counterpart for the Irish, Zach Preisner, they both looked really comfortable at the plate. Preisner actually did a double as well, but Putz, yeah, as you mentioned, 3 hits, Can't ask for a much better debut with a new team and a new place. Probably a big culture shock for him, but definitely didn't show any nerves in that first game against Falmouth.
Absolutely. We'll see if he can keep swinging a hot bat here, as it'll be Beloso up first. Putts in the on-deck circle. Here comes the first pitch from Vernon. This is up and out. A fastball just missed his spot there. May have slipped on that one as well. And the count goes to 1-0.
Talk about a guy who also has a lot of confidence right now, Cade Beloso, who continues to swing a strong bat to start this year.
Absolutely. Fouls this one back to the screen. The only game Beloso didn't just absolutely tear up was yesterday. He actually had an 0 for 6 with 2 strikeouts and a double play. But prior to that, leading the entire Cape Cod Baseball League in batting average, and certainly trying to get back on that train here as he swings and misses at the 1-1. That time you saw 82 there from Austin Vernon, about a 10-mile-an-hour difference, and he pulls the string here on Beloso.
Yeah, it's a really solid difference on what looked like a changeup.
1-2 to Beloso, swing and a miss, strike 3. He got him. That is strikeout number 3 on the day for Austin Vernon. Vernon, another one of those guys, Colin, as Carter Putz comes to the plate, that likely Chatham is going to lose to the draft here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you can see why with how much confidence he's pitching with 3 strikeouts and 4 batters. Already proved himself on the Cape last year. I'm sure a lot of scouts have taken notice, and he looks good coming off an injury that wiped out his brief 2020 season as a first pitch that Putz sees is swung on a miss for a strike.
Yep, gets a swing and a miss on a high fastball well out of the zone. Gets Putz to chase. And the count 0-1. This ball swung on and fouled away. This is Vernon's second start on the Cape this summer. Pitched 3 innings in his debut, 4 strikeouts, so only 1 walk, and did not allow so much as a hit, much less a run. Here he's got Carter Putz, 0-2, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Another batter set down here by Austin Vernon. He is clinical through these first couple of innings.
More of the same from what we saw 2 years ago here on the Cape with Chatham. Had 8 appearances with a 3-0 record, 3.91 ERA, and he struck out 36 batters over 20 2/3 innings. So he is a high-volume strikeout pitcher. We're seeing it so far this afternoon.
That's why I love working with you, Colin. I started Googling his 2019 stats, and you just had them ready. You were already set to go with that. As it'll be a 1-0 count here on Tatum Levens, the catcher, getting some time here, the 1-0. Swung on, fouled back to the screen.
Yeah, I'm not going to take all the credit for that, though. Emmanuel Berberi of Chatham was the one who had these notes put out and really well organized, so I didn't even have to go very far to find it.
Absolutely. 1-1 down and in. That'll miss and make it a 2-1 count. Of course, we want to say a great thank you to all the other broadcasters on the Cape. It's always good to be able to do a lot of in-depth prep on your team and just swap those notes off with everybody else. Of course, we do look into those players on our own for opponents, but good to have the detailed good stuff from the hometown broadcasters.
Yeah, that really is a testament to what we've I'll finish that thought up actually in a minute.
Good. The 3-1. That'll miss outside. Tossing as bad as Levens, and he'll take his base. The first walk of the day and the first base runner of the day for Harwich.
Now, what I was going to say was it's really a testament to all the work as us former college broadcasters, all the work that teams, programs, SIDs really put into game planning. We kind of find out the hard way when we're on the Cape, when we're the ones responsible for that.
Absolutely. Us grizzled veterans. I feel like we're giving away all the company secrets today, Colin.
Yeah.
We really got to stop letting people behind the curtain. First pitch on the way, swing and a high drive to right center, but this one's going to deaden in the air, and the center fielder Trinkle will glove it for out number 3. So the M's get a base runner, but can't get anybody across. Still a 5-0 lead for Chatham. We go to the visitors' third. You're watching, or listening rather, to Harwich Mariners baseball. You're on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to White House Field. Tyler, Henry, Colin, Casey. Curry College is where you go to become anything you want to be. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, including new majors in sport and recreation management, graphic design, marketing, and computer science online at www.curry.edu. Again, Tyler, Henry, Colin, Casey bringing you the call here from White House Field. Another inning coming up here for Nick Cinnacola. And Colin, Cinnacola seems to have calmed whatever nerves ailed him back in the first. You just hope the damage not already done with a 5 spot on the board by Chatham.
Yeah, it's tough when your team is on the other side struggling against a strong pitcher in Austin Vernon. But at the very least, this will keep Cinnacola's confidence going. It doesn't seem like he was bothered too much by that rough 5-run first inning. Got to continue that here in the third.
He'll face the 3, 4, and 5 hitters here as Caden Grice steps to the plate, takes ball 1. And you know, really, again, he was up in the count on the 2 batters that he hit back in the first inning, and both times he didn't miss his spot by much. He just came in and got the cleat on a breaking ball both times. So, again, seeing him settle in here as he gets a swing and a miss, blows a fastball by Grice, and evens the count at 1-1 is certainly good to see.
Yeah, the fastball is still right about where we've expected it to be, the upper 80s, the low 90s. He's not exactly the biggest power pitcher, but he can sneak one by you every once in a while.
And for the most part, very good at locating as he gets a swing and a ball popped high and foul to make it a 1-2 count here on Caden Grice. Grice was hit by a pitch back in his first at bat. Lyle Miller Green, who stands on deck, 0 for 1 today with a strikeout, as we've got every other game underway across the Cape. We'll get you an update of our CCBL scoreboard in just a moment. But first, Cinnacola looking in here for the 1-2, the windup and the pitch. And this one swung on and taken near the hole. Sliding stop pick there by Hughes. Turns, fires to first in time for out number 1. Great defensive play by Hal Hughes. And Colin, if he was having any discomfort at second base, it's not showing here early on.
No, it isn't. And he had another nice play last night against Falmouth at second base. He didn't start the game. He came in for Corey Acton. But right now, getting the start at second base, he just looks better and better as the season goes on. We know he had some struggles early on with a couple of errors. But since then, we're seeing the Hal Hughes we saw in 2019 work in the middle infield.
Absolutely. Cinnacola squares up. First pitch here, off speed, misses down. Count will start at 1-0 on Lyle Miller Green. That'll give us a chance to look at what else is going on around the Cape this afternoon. The Bourne Braves, who just are a cheat code to the league at this point. I don't know how they're doing what they're doing. They're up 5-1 already on the Kettleers of Cotuit. Cinnacola gets a fastball by the batter. Evens the count at 1-1 on Lyle Miller Green. Every other game just getting underway. YD at Orleans, Falmouth at Hyannis, Brewster at Wareham. Zeros across the board at all 3 parks there. We'll update you throughout the game as the ball fouled away back into the grandstands, and the count goes to 1-2 here on Lyle Miller Green.
Yeah, crazy how those Braves just continue to tear the cover off the ball against basically everyone they've seen.
Well, and I'll get some more specific numbers on it here in just a moment, but this is the thing that's unfair about Bourne right now. Yes, it's only been 5 games. Maybe the numbers matter, maybe they don't. As a check swing and a miss, Lyle Miller Green struck out for the second time today. Nick Cinnacola picks up K number 5, and that is 2 down here in the third.
The strikeout pitch has still been there, even with the control issues he had early on. All of a sudden, just like that in the blink of an eye, he's retired 6 in a row, so this is more what we've been accustomed to seeing from Nick Cinnacola, at least what we saw against Orleans.
And really seeming to settle in. He had 4 strikeouts through his first 4 innings of this Cape Cod season. So far, working in inning number 3, and he's already got 5 Ks on the board. So again, a very good thing to see. He gets out ahead here of Caden Trinkle, who he beamed back in inning number 1. Second pitch swung on and lifted high in the air out of foul territory. Wilkin will chase it to the fence and runs into the fence, takes a tumble, collects his hat, and appears to be no worse for wear. But Brock Wilkin really selling out over there by the Harwich bullpen, trying to get a catch for the third out of the inning.
Yeah, he's working a little gingerly back towards third base, but I think he's just kind of shaking his hat, making sure everything's all right. Just have to worry about the wrists kind of when you run with your arms extended into that chain link fence.
Absolutely. So back to my point on Bourne, they lead the league with 35 runs so far this season. They are the only undefeated team left on the Cape. But here's the other thing that's unfair. They're also the only team, or one of 2 teams on the Cape with an ERA under 4. So both the best offense and arguably the best pitching staff here just through the first couple of games. Again, we know that can all change in a moment, but Bourne really laying it on the rest of the league right now. Cinnacola's 1-2 pitch. That'll miss upstairs, even the count at 2 apiece.
And remember, that's a Bourne team that, at least in the last 80 years, has won championship, coming in 2009.
Yep, absolutely. But again, it may come back to bite the Bravos because they may be losing a lot of those talented players to the draft upcoming and potentially to Team USA as well. 2-2 from Cinnacola, check swing. It's going to get by the catcher. Levens runs out, picks it up, throws to first in time, and that will count for strikeout number 6 for Nick Cinnacola. So we will step away. Another 3-up, 3-down inning. Cinnacola has now retired the last 7 he's faced, including 4 strikeouts. And we will have the Mariners up to bat. Ben Malgiri, Hal Hughes, and Nick Lucky due up on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners here on the Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to White House Field. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey. Again, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up here for the Harwich Mariners. Ben Malgiri, Hal Hughes, and Nick Lucky on to try their fortunes against Austin Vernon. First pitch, swing and a miss. More of the same here as Malgiri can't catch up to the fastball. Again, coming in at 92. Nothing too crazy here for Austin Vernon, but the location has been impeccable through the beginning part of the game. Next pitch, that one will miss down and away. Count goes to 1-1 here on Ben Malgiri. Of course, getting to that point in the season where numbers mean a little bit more, you can start to look at averages, although a guy like Malgiri doesn't have quite the same sample size, as he has not been an everyday starter here for the M's. Getting into the lineup more and more, especially after that home run, though. The 2-1. That'll miss down and away. Good patient at bat here by Malgiri, and that's what we expect out of the Mariners. Colin, you mentioned it in the pregame, but that's the biggest stat coming into this game. The fewest strikeouts and the most walks for the Mariners hitters this year. As the 3-1 will miss low, and there's another walk here. 2 base runners, both of them coming with bases on balls.
Been really impressed with Ben Malgiri the last 3 games or so and how comfortable he's looked at the plate. He struggled in that debut against Orleans, but since then we've seen more and more quality at-bats. Of course, the home run against Hyannis, that home run came against Bourne. It was the lone run against Bourne. But since then, he's looked a lot more comfortable at the plate. 3 hits yesterday, and he's on with a leadoff walk to begin the 3rd.
And that's what the Mariners need. They need guys on. Now to move them around is a little lollipop toss over to first base. That might be the slowest pickoff move I've ever seen in my life. Austin Vernon just did a little bunny hop and then rainbowed one over to Grice at first. Obviously just trying to keep the runner close. He wasn't trying to actually pick him off. But, Colin, that was interesting as we've got a little flare into center field. This will have a chance to get down, and it will. So Hal Hughes is aboard here, and 2 on. Mariners setting up shop here with nobody out in the home half of the 3rd.
Hal Hughes, another guy who seemingly is getting more and more comfortable at the plate as he gets more at-bats. That time, not trying to do too much, just trying to put the bat on the ball, and was able to drop one into shallow center field. It's all you can really ask for out of your 8 and 9 hitters to lead off an inning, and now the top of the order can try to drive some runs in and chip away at this deficit.
Absolutely. Top 4 guys in the lineup, or correction, top 5 guys in the lineup, 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. It's been the bottom guys in the lineup finding ways on base. Nick Lucky is 0 for 1 with a strikeout, stands in from the left side. First pitch to him. Big swing and a miss. Comes up empty yet again. Lucky, notably not in the lineup yesterday for the Harwich Mariners. Was in the lineup a couple of days ago against Bourne, a 1 for 4 day with a single. Vernon looks the runner back to second, brings home the 0-1. That'll miss up and out, stopped there by Fail. And the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Austin Vernon back to work. Runners on first and second here for the M's. Home half of inning number 3. Here comes the pitch. And that will miss outside again. So Vernon, who had been really doing a good job getting ahead of guys here early on, now falls behind 2 balls and 1 strike. Harwich, I'm sure, would love to find a way to make him pay, trying to get on the board here in the home half of the 3rd. Vernon will look back to second and brings home the 2-1. Swing and a miss. Count goes to 2-2 here on Nick Lucky. Lucky has really shined in the outfield. A couple of web gems back in that season opener against Orleans, now trying to get it going with the bat in his hand, as he is trusted in a big spot here leading off the Mariners. Here's the 2-2 from Vernon. That'll miss outside, and the count worked full here by Nick Lucky, and this is what you expect out of the Harwich Mariners. Long at bats, 1 through 9. Nobody trying to put one over the fence right now. And Austin Vernon going to have to try to come back and get a strikeout here with a full count. The big righty working out of the stretch. And he will look back to second. Nobody holding currently. Ben Malgiri on base. Still a full count. Austin Vernon ready to go from the stretch. The payoff pitch. Big swing and a miss. Got him down. A second swinging strikeout of the day for Nick Lucky. And 1 away here in the inning for the M's.
Yeah, tough first out with 2 on and nobody out. Lucky again. Still trying to get into a rhythm at the plate here on the Cape. But still only 1 out in the inning. Josh Hood, a really hot hitter coming up for the Mariners that is more than capable of driving home some runs.
Yep, Hood, the only guy in the top 5 to put the ball in play his first time up. Here he'll watch the first pitch in there for a called strike, low and outside by Austin Vernon.
And as we've been accustomed to seeing out of these Tom Holliday-led anglers over the years, left-hander is warming in the pen. We've seen these kind of 3-3-3 approaches when it comes to starting pitching.
The 0-1. Down and away, count goes to 1-1. We've seen it work for them occasionally. We've also seen it hurt Chatham in the past. And when you've got a guy cooking like Austin Vernon, if he gets out of this inning without giving up a run, I don't see how you pull him. I don't really care what the strategy is. But Tom Holliday's got his own thing going on. We know that from 2019. We'll see if he does, in fact, pull Vernon. And if Vernon can get out of the inning unscathed here. The 1-1. Fastball, big swing, and a ball tipped foul back to the screen. Hood didn't miss that one by much, but comes up with a foul tip, and the count goes to 1-2.
That is Cy Nielsen, by the way, getting warm out in the Chatham bullpen out of BYU.
So we'll see if they do indeed bring him in. But for right now, the game belongs to Austin Vernon, who has already cooked his way to 6 strikeouts here in the first 2 times through the order. Another 1-2. Swung on and fouled away. Spoiled again here by Josh Hood. Good defensive piece of hitting. And the count stays right where it is.
Yeah, and Tyler, yesterday's game really was a flash of the potential that this Mariners lineup has when they do put it all together. This heart of the lineup that they have due up is really right now one of the better ones you can ask for in this entire Cape League. So if Hood can just find a way on base, set the table.
This one misses in the dirt. Good patience here by Hood. And again, that's what you expect. He battles his way back in the count here. And he has evened it up at 2 apiece.
Those long at-bats, big reason why the Mariners draw so many walks. They make you earn every single out.
Yep, so far Vernon's done a good job of earning it, but he has put 2 guys on. As he will miss again here, and the count worked full by Josh Hood. And part of this is head coach Steve Angler, because there are coaches in this league that would tell their guys to be a little bit more aggressive. But back in 2019, now every year prior, it's the patient at-bats that have really kind of worked for the Mariners. Slow and steady as she goes for the M's. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away, 2 on. And it's going to be a walk here. So Josh Hood, after falling behind 1 and 2, battles his way back into a walk, and the bases are loaded for Brock Wilkin.
Talk about a guy that can get you back in this game with one swing of the bat. Just who you want at the plate if you're the Mariners. Wilkin, of course, going yard yesterday, seemingly reaching base in every single game he appears in. Vernon's going to have to tread lightly with a power bat like Wilkin at the plate.
Absolutely. Wilkin, I'm sure, would be more than happy to repay the favor, as he'll miss up and outside here. Or rather, Austin Vernon misses up and outside to start the count 1-0. The problem is twofold. If you're Austin Vernon, you don't have anywhere to put Brock Wilkin, but as it was last night, even if you pitch around him, you got Cade Beloso coming up. The 1-0. Big swing and a miss. Wilkin trying to bring his team back within 1, and instead he evens the count at 1-1.
Wilkin comes into this at-bat 7th on the Cape in batting average. Or, I'm sorry, coming into this game, he's 7th, 389.
Big swing and a pitch fouled back to the screen here to make it 1-2.
Ironically, he's tied enough with Chatham's leader in batting average, being Caden Grice, also at 389.
From the wind-up with the bases loaded, Vernon brings home the 1-2. This one fouled away here by Brock Wilkin. For Wilkin, obviously, you know, the temptation is always there to try to park one over the left field fence, but it's just got to be about keeping the inning going. Anything other than a strikeout or a double play should help you here, as the middle infielder's a double play depth. Right now, the corner's not in right now with a 5-run lead, not trying to cut the runner down at home. 1-2, swung on and cranked high and deep to left field. Looking up his chick, it is gone. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Brock Wilkin, and he blasts a grand slam over the left field fence. Anglers 5, Mariners 4. What a piece of two-strike hitting by Brock Wilkin.
Another Brockett, this one of the grand variety. He got all of that one, much like the one we saw earlier in the game for Chatham. Just completely turns on this ball out towards left center field. One mistake pitch from Vernon, and we have a brand new ball game in the 3rd inning.
Yes, sir. Cade Beloso will try to keep things going for Harwich, but it's a one-run ball game, and I'll tell you what, Colin, there's a crowd on hand here today, and they are into this game right now, as this pitch will miss down and away. Count goes to 1-2. Beloso would love to snap this cold streak. This one will miss up and out. Count goes now 2-2-0.
And just like that, if you're Nick Cinnacola, now the mindset changes. You guys are back in this game.
Absolutely. This ball fouled away. Count goes to 2-1. Cinnacola now pitching with just a 1-run deficit, and more to the point, the Mariners completely back into this. It takes the pressure off the bats a little bit when you get yourself back the way that Harwich did, and they would love to keep it going this inning. This ball fouled back to the screen. Count goes to 2-1, and the Cape League veteran, Elizabeth Layton, with the flinch from the press box. That is absolutely shameful.
First one in 20 years.
She claims it's the first time in 20 years. We'll get a fact check on that, as the 2-2 is swung on and missed, and Beloso down on strikes.
Vernon going back to the changeup that really was working for him earlier. He kind of faded away from it this inning, and maybe he was just trying to get some of that hard stuff over when he struggled with control, but that fastball became predictable really quickly, and Brock Wilkin wasn't fooled. That's a big reason why we've seen a lot of teams kind of stay away from the fastball against him.
This ball misses low. Count starts off at 1-0 on putts, as you mentioned, 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. Looking to keep the M's going here with 2 away in the inning. Next pitch on the way. This one misses. Count now goes even at 1-1. Regardless of if they get the rest of this inning the way that they want it, this is going to be a beautiful situation set up here for the Mariners on the other side, as this pitch misses outside. And I mentioned that, you don't pull Vernon if he doesn't give up any runs. Well, he's given up 4 here. Tom Holliday may be a bit more justified, at least on his end here, if he does elect to pull him. Also, I believe a signal here from the home plate umpire, I believe a 3-0 count. We'll get confirmation on that here in a second, but assume it's 3-0 for now, as this or actually they call this a strike, and the count goes to 3-1.
Yeah, looked like Putz had the take sign there, not surprisingly with 3-0, and Vernon struggling to get pitches over the plate throughout this inning.
The 3-1 swung on and fouled back to the screen, so now it's Vernon battling his way back, and it's a full count here on Carter Putz. Tatum Levens and Zach Preisner, the next two due up here for the M's. 5-4 ball game here in the home half of inning number 3. All 4 runs courtesy of a Brock Wilkin grand slam. Grand slams on both ends. Payoff pitch swung on and hit a ton out into right center. Tracking it back is Miller Green. He's not going to come down with it. Carter Putz takes off for second, and he is in standing up. A 2-out double for Carter Putz, and the Mariners with an opportunity to tie it with Tatum Levens coming to the plate.
What else can you say about Carter Putz other than he has been outstanding early in his Harwich Mariners career? Just going the other way with a pitch with 2 strikes, perfectly placed out in right center field. Miller Green just couldn't track it down. He gave it a good effort, but it's amazing how quickly the appearance of this game has changed in a matter of 5 minutes. All of a sudden, this White House faithful right back in it.
Yeah, sometimes, you get 5 or 6 games, or you get 5 or 6 innings into a game, you see the crowd kind of thin out, a little bit like what we saw at Falmouth. No one's going to be moving an inch as this one gets going. Again, just a 1-run ball game, and the Mariners right back in it with a chance to tie things up. Tatum Levens at the dish. Right now, Carter Putz standing on second base. Vernon's first pitch misses up, and he is starting to struggle to locate a little bit here, Colin, a bit shaky after the grand slam.
You can understand why. Cinnacola, it was really the opposite effect we saw. He got a lot better at control after the grand slam. Vernon reacting differently. I think that's really interesting to see the different dynamics between the two starting pitchers.
1-0, big swing and a miss here is very clearly sitting on a fastball was Tatum Levens. And, well, a fastball he did not receive. So the count even at 1-1.
That home run, Wilkin's second, that now officially puts him in sole possession of the team lead in home runs, the only one with multiple on this young season.
I'm going to safely assume also probably in the team lead in RBIs after that as well, as the 1-1 misses down and in. No, they call that a strike. Looked low and inside, but it's going to be called a strike by Larry Rosenberg, and it's a 1-2 count here on Tatum Levens.
Currently 2 guys in the Cape with 3 home runs. Luke Gold is 1, the other Owen Diodati for the Wareham Gatemen.
The 1-2. This is high and outside. Good stop there by Fail.
Gold, of course, forked to it, and he's been really good in limited at-bats. 5 hits in 10 at-bats. 3 of them have left the yard.
2 balls, 2 strikes on the Mariners catcher. Tying run in scoring position. The 2-2 swung on and poked near the right side. Misplayed by the first baseman. They've got the pitcher covering the bag, not in time. So how about that? It eats up Grice. Garcia covers it up. Vernon runs over to the bag, but he doesn't get his foot down in time, and the M's have runners at the corners with 2 away for Zach Preisner.
Yeah, defense can make a difference in this one, and Grice unable to come up with it cleanly. He'll be charged with an error.
Yeah, no question about it. That is an E3 all the way. And again, Harwich in a great spot as Tom Holliday will come out and have a word with his hurler. It was going so well. Sorry, Colin. It was going so well for Austin Vernon.
We'll see if it's just a word, and that might not be, or that could very well be it for him. I know they wanted him to go the full 3 innings, and earlier, Tyler, we thought he was easily going to make it 3 innings. We were talking about, having him go further than the 3 innings he was projected to go. Now, all of a sudden, can he even get to 3 innings? It's amazing what one swing of the bat can do to an entire team and a pitcher's confidence.
Well, you're talking about a guy that the first time through the lineup, plus Nick Lucky for the second time, he gave up 1 base runner. It was a Tatum Levens walk. Aside from that, 5 strikeouts. Came back, he did walk a man. But again, he was sitting in a really good spot. Harwich loads the bases up, and in similar fashion, too, the M's, very patient. They worked 2 walks, and that's 2 of the 4 runs on the board for Harwich. So to reset the scene for you at home, Zach Preisner steps up to face Austin Vernon. For the Mariners right now, Carter Putz, his Notre Dame teammate, standing on third. Tatum Levens on first after the air. First pitch, swung on and hit high in the air. This one will stay in the yard. Should be a routine play for Miller Green out in right, and he gloves it for out number 3. But not before a grand slam of the Brockett variety brings 4 runs across for the Harwich Mariners. They trail 5-4 as we head to inning number 4 here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network, and with the next 3 innings of play-by-play, taking over in a good spot here, Mr. Colin Casey.
Thank you, Tyler. Certainly has been an eventful first 3 innings from White House Field as Chatham jumped out to a 5-0 lead, led by a grand slam, and then Harwich with a Brock Wilkin grand slam of their own, right back in at 5-4 the score. First pitch from Nick Cinnacola to begin the 4th inning comes inside on Michael Brown, who steps out of the way for ball 1.
Yep, and again, Cinnacola has to be feeling better at this point. Again, just 1-run deficit. He could still potentially end up on the hook for the win if his team can get him 2 more runs of support.
He's been a lot more efficient since that first inning as well. He's retired each of his last 7 batters, and here he has Brown swinging, and he fouls it straight back.
Yep, so a 1-1 count here. And the pressure also on the Chatham Anglers batters. You wonder if that'll affect them. They do still have the lead, but that lead's certainly a little less comfortable.
Michael Brown, the Washington Husky, towering 6'5", 245 pounds. He watches an off-speed pitch miss below the knees.
And he looks every bit of it, standing in that left-handed batter's box.
He also is all-league in high school in football at Vacaville High School out in California. So a really well-rounded athlete, the Chatham Anglers. And here he drives one out towards deep left field. Beloso coming over. He'll make the catch about 2 feet in front of the warning track for a loud out number 1.
Yep, and you could tell all the way that was going to be an out. Beloso tracking it, looking in the entire time, as Harwich one away here in the inning.
So here is the man of the hour for the Chatham Anglers, Andrew Benefield, who, with one swing of the bat, put his team up 5-0 via the grand slam in the top of the first inning. Looking to repeat that success in at-bat number 2, Cinnacola on the outside corner for a called strike. Benefield out of Dallas Baptist, a real ugly swing on that one, and he falls behind 0-2.
Yeah, Cinnacola had him looking silly swinging at that one. We'll see if he battles back here. As again, Cinnacola pitching with a whole new confidence in what is effectively a whole new ball game since that first inning.
The main righty delivers, and it misses outside. Benefield, no stranger to summer ball in college. Played for the K-Town Bobbers in the Northwoods League in 2020. Made the All-Star team in 2019, hitting .304, 9 homers, and 35 RBIs. That was for the Madison Mallards of Northwoods League. And he battles back a little bit. Count even now 2-2 to Benefield.
I'm going to test your mascot knowledge a little bit here, Colin. A question I don't have the answer to. I believe the Maine Black Bears?
Yep.
Is that correct? I just wanted to make sure.
Native to Orono, Maine, way up in upstate Maine. Pretty close to the Canadian border. Swing and a miss on the 2-2 pitch, and Benefield goes down swinging. That is now 8 straight retired for Nick Cinnacola, and there are 2 down in the inning.
Yep,
Sorry, that's actually 9 straight retired by him.
Yeah, no, since giving up the grand slam to Andrew Benefield, who stands in now, he has not allowed a single runner to get on base. And actually, correction, Benefield, the guy he just set down, John Michael Fail, at the plate now.
Fail flew out to end that first inning, out to Malgeri in center. He takes a big cut at a high fastball, doesn't come close, 0-1.
Yeah, not only has Cinnacola retired, as you mentioned, now the last 10 batters that he's faced, but I'm not sure if you mentioned it already or not, 5 of those have come via the strikeout.
Really getting that punch-out pitch working, and he's ahead once again, 0-2, this time to Fail. Fail out of North Greenville, the South Carolina native. Put up some astronomical numbers. And he hits this one a ton out to left field. See you later. Way out of here. I didn't even see that ball land. I think it cleared the trees out in left center field. Solo home run, John Michael Fail. And just like that, Chatham has extended its lead 6-4 in the top of the 4th.
If you've been to White House Field, you know what we're talking about when we refer to the tree line out there. There's a fan sitting up on the top of the hill. He got up and ran probably 15 to 20 yards back into the tree line to catch the ball. I don't know what's back there. That might be the first time anyone at a Harwich Mariners game has had to go there to retrieve a baseball. I thought that with the thick air today, maybe these balls wouldn't be flying out of the park, but man, we have just seen a power clinic by both sides.
Matt Garcia swings and misses at strike 1. Tyler, I think that pitch was a good 4 or 5 inches up. It did not look like a strike he swung at, and he tomahawks it over everything in left field. Just an impressive swing by Fail, as the count now even 1-1.
Well, that's the most enticing pitch to a hitter. Fastball up around the eyes, as far as pitches that are outside of the zone. And typically you don't see a guy get a hold of one, but yeah, you mentioned tomahawk chop gets the job done.
Ground ball towards the Chatham dugout, foul, 1-2.
Well, so much for our, well, I'll take the hit on this one, Colin. So much for my pregame comments about this potentially being a low-scoring game between 2 good pitching staffs. We got a 6-4 ball game already.
That's just the second hit of the game for Chatham. 2 hits, both have left the yard. 1-2 is over for a called strike 3. Garcia goes down looking. So Cinnacola picks up a couple more strikeouts in the 4th, but a solo home run from John Michael Fail extends Chatham's lead 6-4. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Bottom of the fourth inning, 6-4, Chatham leads over Harwich. Cape Cod Baseball League fans, for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Got a pitching change to tell you about as Austin Vernon's afternoon is done. It had been looking really good through about 2+ innings, and then Brock Wilkin with the grand slam kind of ruining his stat line, but he is not in line to pick up a loss. He'll get the no decision going 3 innings, allowing 4 earned on 3 hits. First pitch from the new pitcher, Cy Nielsen, misses down in the dirt to Ben Malgeri. Malgeri walked and came around to score on the grand slam. Inside-out swing on the 1-0 out toward shallow center field, but the second baseman, Garcia, backpedaling, makes a catch for out number 1. So Hal Hughes will step in. He has one of Harwich's 3 hits. Singled came around to score last inning. For many Harwich Mariners fans that remember Hughes last year with the team, or I should say 2 years ago. Of course, no season in 2020. The pitch misses low. Hughes, consistent bat in that Mariners order. But he had a big moment in him as there's a ground ball to short. Rivera throw in plenty of time onto Grice, and a quickly 2 down for Nielsen and Chatham in the 4th inning.
Yep, and we'll see what happens here. Again, 2 outs here in the inning. Nick Lucky, who's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts at the dish right now.
So Lucky looking to keep the inning alive. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts swinging. Nielsen off to an efficient start out of the pen. He'll fire in a strike at 90 miles an hour. Left-hander Nielsen out of BYU. A rising junior. Count even now 1-1. His dad actually played at Snow College and as well as Southern Utah. Nielsen taken out of high school in the 40th round by Cleveland. There's a drive out towards center field. That ball carrying towards the fence, and it is way out of here. How about breaking out of a slump? Nick Lucky to dead center field, a solo home run, and once again, the Mariners are within 1. It's 6-5.
I mean, what has gotten into these Harwich hitters? I mean, these hitters for both sides. We haven't really seen a ton of home runs from either of these clubs this season. And these aren't just home runs, Colin. These aren't tucking over the fence. Every ball that's been hit over the wall today has been an absolute tank.
That one went right over the 400-foot mark and got over it by a good 15 to 20 feet. It's a home run derby here in Harwich. First pitch to Josh Hood misses.
Yep, and once again, Harwich, one big run away from evening things up here in the 5th.
This one's already an instant classic, and we're not even halfway through. Fastball misses inside to Hood.
Yep.
Josh Hood 0 for 1 with a ground out and a walk thus far.
Yep, and we'll see if they can, again, just close the gap. But got to feel good about the situation that they're in.
Fastball misses down and in, 3-0 to Hood, and why is that significant? Brock Wilkin looming in the on-deck circle.
Absolutely, and you see the same little lack of confidence here. Cy Nielsen gives up the home run, immediately comes back and delivers 3 pitches out of the zone. Make it 4 pitches out of the zone. I thought that looked good, but home plate umpire Larry Rosenberg saw it differently, and the Mariners have a runner on base with 2 away.
Second walk drawn by Hood. Nielsen kind of cocked his head there like, can't even get that call, really? But the inning continues, 2 away. And in steps Wilkin, who struck out looking in the first and blasted a grand slam over the left field wall in the 3rd. If you're just joining us here in Harwich, boy, have you missed a lot. 6-5, Chatham clinging to the lead. against the hard-charging M's.
Absolutely. This is one of those games we get the feeling the offense probably isn't done for both of these sides, and this thing could go down to the wire. Right now, both teams trading punches. This feels like a heavyweight bout in the East.
Hood takes his lead off first. Nielsen comes home, and that one is over for a strike at 89.
Does make our jobs a little easier when these balls are hit as deep as they are, though.
Yeah.
No need to watch the center fielder. He's already turned around and heading back to his position before the ball hits the tree line.
The 1-1. Wilkin fooled on that one. He's late as he slices it foul over everything down the right field line.
Yep, and again, 1-2. This is the count that he hit that tank of a grand slam on back in the third inning. He's done some of his best work in two-strike counts this year.
Nielsen will look at first. Now the pitch. Breaking ball just misses outside. Cade Beloso waiting in the on-deck circle. Another guy like Lucky who homered in the inning. Looking to get out of a bit of a skid. The 2-2. Wilkin just doing enough to get a piece of it to stay alive. Foul.
You have a good piece of two-strike hitting again, just being patient, waiting for his pitch, and he knows anything close he's got to offer at, but he doesn't have to put a poor ball in play.
Cy Nielsen gave up just 4 home runs in 18 appearances at BYU. The 2-2 broken back grounder towards Rivera at short. He charges, throw is in plenty of time, and the inning is over. But Nick Lucky gets a hold of one out to center field. His first home run as a Harwich Mariner, and the lead is back down to 1 for the Anglers. We're through 4 from White House Field. Chatham 6, Harwich 5. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Fifth inning from Harwich, Massachusetts. Colin Casey alongside Tyler Henry bringing you live coverage of Harwich Mariners baseball. Good to be back on the Cape after a dormant 2020 season. Nick Cinnacola back out for his 5th inning of work, and he starts out the first batter, a breaking ball in the dirt to Cameron Chick for ball 1.
Yep, and again, Harwich right now, the other half of things, got to keep the runs off the board, but other than the home run given up in the 4th inning, Cinnacola has looked really, really good. Just 2 balls out of the yard that have hurt Harwich in this one.
Fastball misses high for ball 2. Again, we apologize for the lack of video on this stream. We've been working nonstop to try to get that fixed, and if we are able to get it fixed tonight, we will be sure to pull that up as soon as possible. 2-0 to Chick is on the outside corner, a fastball for strike 1.
In the meantime, some pretty good content going up on our social media page, especially on Twitter, courtesy of our very own Tim Foley. You can see the video of that Brock Wilkin grand slam from earlier, if you want to see a video of that.
Fastball misses high to Chick, the Big Ten All-Freshman team back in 2019. Also made just the All-Big Ten second team overall. Cinnacola's 3-1 pitch. Check swing, he did go around, so the count will be full.
And again, he's cruising right now. Cinnacola working at a pretty quick pace here, as we know he's been prone to do throughout the course of his career. Not a guy that wastes a lot of time. And just as I say that, he grabs the rosin bag and checks himself a little bit.
Josh Rivera waits in the on-deck circle for Chatham. The 3-2 pitch. Popped up, left side, it'll make its way into the concourse. Humidity's still pretty high right now, but it hasn't impacted. If anything, it's probably helped the home runs that have gotten out of the ballpark so far today. Total of 4, including a pair of grand slams.
I was going to say, again, you would think that with a lot more humidity in the air, that wouldn't be the case.
Borderline pitch just off the outside corner, and Cam Chick is on via a walk to begin the 5th inning.
Yep, and again, that's the one thing to keep an eye on here. So far in this game, Cinnacola, through either walks or hit by pitch, has put now 5 runners on base, and so far the first 4 have come across, so trying to change his fortunes here.
Cinnacola now at 74 pitches. As we got action in the pen, a left-hander warming. It's Dalton Smith for Harwich. First pitch fastball to Rivera, misses high and outside. Rivera walked and came in to score on Andrew Benefield's grand slam in the first inning. Then he flew out to end the top of the second. Cinnacola at the 1-0. Breaking ball in for a strike.
Yeah, right now looking at a 1-1 count, and again, I mean, Cinnacola just trying to get a couple of outs here. Middle infield at double play depth, perfect opportunity to try to roll one up the middle if they can get it.
Quick throw over on Chick. He's back in with a dive. So far this season, Chick has stolen 1 base, but he's been caught 3 times. So aggressive on the base path, but maybe to a fault.
Yeah, not a great start in terms of the aggressive base running.
Chopper right over Cinnacola's head. Charging the shortstop, making the throw is Preisner, and he is out at first base. Rivera busting it down the line, but couldn't quite get there. Chick advances to second, and there'll be a runner in scoring position for Chatham with 1 away, but a really nice play by Zach Preisner at short.
Absolutely, and the defense has looked really good, both from Preisner and for Putz, and you got to think a lot of chemistry between those two already. Putz knows he's not going to have to relearn what the throw coming from short is going to look like. He saw that every single day at Notre Dame throughout the course of their season.
So 1 out for Caden Grice. Was plunked in the first inning and grounded out in the third. Fastball up and away. Grice out of Clemson. It's also been a pitcher for them, a left-hander. Made 5 appearances, 3 starts. Didn't have a whole lot of success, though. 0-1 with an ERA of 7.20. The 1-0. Big swing and a miss. Cinnacola getting him with a fastball.
Yep. Cinnacola, definitely a creature of habit out there on the hill. He's got his own little pre-pitch routine that he goes through. A little more elaborate than what a lot of guys do, but if there's one thing we know about college pitchers, they're one of the most unique groups of people on the planet in terms of their rituals and superstitions.
The 1-1. Breaking ball sliced down the left field line, and it will land in the Mariners' bullpen foul.
Yeah, it may have come at the bullpen catcher there, but the only guy who would have had an opportunity to make the play. Count goes to 1-2. Cinnacola going to be looking for a strikeout pitch here ahead of Josh Rivera.
Speaking of catcher, talk about a depth position for Harwich this year. They really have a bunch of guys they can rely on. Pat Winkle, of course, missing some time with the combine that he was at, and Aaron McKeithen steps in yesterday and belts a home run in his spot. Also scored 3 times as time is called.
Absolutely. Opportunities aplenty here for Harwich, and again, a position that you really do need to have depth at.
The 1-2. And Cinnacola misses just outside.
But also, you know, there's always the chance that Pat Winkle gets drafted high enough that he takes off, and now you're left with your 2 guys at the end of it. So Tatum Levens, in that case, would join Aaron McKeithen as the two everyday starters behind the dish for the M's.
Winkle drafted out of high school by the New York Yankees, so there already was interest in the UConn catcher prior to his career with the Huskies. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Cinnacola pulls a string to add another strikeout on his ledger. That is now 9 in the ball game for Nick Cinnacola, 2 outs.
Absolutely. I mentioned he'd be looking for that strikeout pitch, and he got it. He has been cruising, and again, the pitch count may be getting up there a little bit. That's probably more the reason why the bullpen up and active here for the Mariners. He's looked very good since that first inning. Just the 1 run given up, but again, you can't delete numbers like that just to make the numbers on the day look better. Does mean something, but it doesn't help the Mariners on the scoreboard where they trail by 1.
And he's only given up 2 hits. The problem is both of them have left the yard. First pitch swing from Lyle Miller-Green popped up right side into foul territory. Calling off the first baseman is Hal Hughes. He makes the catch in front of the warning track down the right field line to retire the side. So Nick Cinnacola, after a rough first inning, has certainly settled down as he gets out of a scoreless top of the 5th inning. We're halfway home from White House Field. Chatham 6, Harwich 5. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Home half, inning number 5 from White House Field. Colin Casey joined by Tyler Henry. 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for Harwich as they find themselves in a tightly contested contest with their bitter Eastern Division rival, the Chatham Anglers. These two teams met in the first round of the playoffs 2 years ago. Harwich winning that best-of-3 series in 2 games, including a combined no-hitter in that series. As the first pitch to Cade Beloso is fouled off down the left field line. Connor McCullough had gotten the start in that game, went the first 6 innings, and then Joe Boyle came in, and Notre Dame Fighting Irish flamethrower came in and shut down the A's batters to clinch it. There's a fly ball down the left field line by Beloso. Good jump on it by Chick, but he can't get there. It lands in foul territory to make the count 0-2.
Yep, and again, I mean, nobody really pumping out triple-digit numbers for Harwich this year, but I'd argue that bullpen just as good from what we've seen so far. A couple of guys have struggled, but for the most part, that bullpen has been rock solid, and that's something you can build around when you have a rotation like Harwich does.
So Beloso looking to avoid the hat trick with an 0-2 count. Struck out swinging in the 2nd and 3rd inning. Cy Nielsen's 0-2 is ripped. Foul. Look out over by the hill. Someone made a play on a hop.
Yep,
Looks like everyone's all right.
Good soft hands over there. Always good to see the defensive stop out in the stands.
I think the A's fan immediately tossed it right back to the bullpen as the 0-2 misses just outside.
Oh, it's like being a Wrigley, I guess.
The 1-2 from Nielsen. Breaking ball gets away from the catcher. Fail. That'll even the count 2-2.
Yeah, and pretty convenient there. Rolls right over to the guy standing on deck. Doesn't even have to leave his spot on the on-deck circle.
Still pretty early, but Beloso does represent the tying run. And he checks swings and does go around. So strikeout number 3 on the afternoon for Beloso. He's had a tough time, 1 away to begin the home half of the 5th.
Yep, and that'll bring up Carter Putz.
Putz, of course, with a double to right center field in his last at-bat, but was stranded at third base. At the time, the score being 5-4. First pitch comes in and almost hits him. Has to high step his way out of danger.
Yep, good job there by Putz getting out of the way. But again, you look at the start to his season so far. Yesterday, gets off to a 3-for-3 start. Today, he has a big double back in that third inning.
Nielsen's 1-0. Trying to get that inside corner, but can't quite. 2-0.
Colin, you also wonder on the other side of the break who the M's are going to put on the bump. Will it be another inning here for Cinnacola? Will they bring Wilkinson in from the bullpen? A couple of options for them here.
Chopper foul off to the left. Putz trying to continue that strong start he had. 3-hit game in his first appearance against Falmouth last night. Extra base hit today. What's in store next? 2-1, check, swing. Did he go? The first base umpire says he did for a strike.
Yeah, not 100% sure if I agree with that one, but again, a better angle from the first base line, I'm sure, than what we have up here.
Even count 2-2. Nielsen working quickly, swing and a miss, strike 3 as Putz waves at it and comes up empty. So back-to-back punch-outs for Nielsen to begin this 5th inning.
Yeah, if Nielsen did lose any confidence due to the home run, he's not showing it here in the 5th. Guys, oftentimes, they have a chance to go back into the dugout, to settle in, to refocus, and that's exactly what Nielsen has done. He comes right back and gets back-to-back Ks to start the 5th inning.
Tatum Levens has reached base in each of his first 2 at-bats. Watches ball 1 outside. He walked in the 2nd, reached on an error at first in the 3rd. Another lefty-lefty matchup. 1-1 is over at 91.
Whatever got into Harwich offensively, the same thing seemed to happen at the end of their game against Falmouth, who lead it 6-0 over the Harbor Hawks.
2-1 the count. We saw them get some of that momentum late in the game. It was too little too late. Conversely, it's a pitcher's duel between YD and Orleans. It's a rematch of last night's game, this one taking place out at Eldridge Park. 2-1 is fouled straight back.
Yep, another low-scoring game happening out in Wareham right now. Brewster Whitecaps up 1-0, still just the bottom of the 2nd. And then in news that shouldn't surprise anybody at this point, the Bourne Braves still up 7-1 on the Katuitt Kettleers.
Breaking ball 2-2 misses inside. When you say still up, I think they actually just extended their lead because it was just 5-1 moments ago. So they just refuse to stop tearing the cover off the baseball down by the bridge. 3-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Levens goes down swinging as Nielsen, I should say, strikes out the side in order in the bottom of the 5th inning. We head to the 6th. Chatham 6, Harwich 5. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back at White House Field, a new pitcher to tell you about as we head to the top of the 6th inning in a 6-5 ball game. Dalton Smith will make his 2nd appearance for Harwich, and Tyler, he'll hope to improve on what was his first one against Orleans. He went 2 1/3 innings, giving up 6 earned on 6 hits, walked 2, struck out 4. The strikeout pitch was working, but he was having trouble missing some of the Firebirds' bats.
Yeah, one of the few guys that did kind of struggle back in that first outing. 2 1/3, as you mentioned, gives up 5 runs, all of them earned on 6 hits, strikes out 4 and walks 2. So, going to look to improve upon that. You mentioned before Dalton Smith, the freshman out of Georgia Tech, a 4-pitch guy, fastball that'll come in anywhere between 90 to 95, a changeup that's got some really good movement to it, a curveball, and a cut fastball. That is what Dalton Smith is working with out there on the bump today.
Smith will be greeted by the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Caden Trenkle leading things off, the Oklahoma State Cowboy. Was hit by a pitch in the first. He came around to score and then struck out in the third. First pitch is flared foul off to the backstop.
Colin, I want to make one more point here on Nick Cinnacola. Of course, the book closes on him. The downside of today's outing, he does end up giving up the 5 runs. But on the other, or correction, the 6 runs. But on the other side of that, as this ball is fouled away, 9 strikeouts, and he only allowed 2 hits. I mean, you cut down on the guys that you put on base for free. That's a heck of an outing. But again, 6 runs come across to score, thanks in large part to 2 balls that leave the ball field.
Breaking ball looked at for strike 3. Caden Trenkle frozen as Dalton Smith with a strong start to his outing. A 3-pitch strikeout to begin the top of the 6th.
Absolutely. Both guys coming out of the bullpen looking awfully good here so far. The lone exception, the Nick Lucky solo shot back in inning number 5.
Here's Michael Brown. Walked in a run in the first, flew out to left field in the 4th. First pitch, that breaking ball almost hits Brown as he turns away from the 77-mile-an-hour curveball. 1-0 misses down in the dirt. Both of Chatham's home runs in this game coming from the bottom third of the order. Benefield, the 7-hitter, who's in the on-deck circle. And then the 8-hitter, John Michael Fail. His solo shot the difference so far in this game.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about the Cape. You see these guys down there, the manager thinks it's a good idea to put them in the 7, the 8, the 9 hole, and come playoff time, those are the guys hitting in the 4 and 5 spots. It's always interesting to see how those lineups evolve throughout the season.
2-0 is chopped foul off of Brown's ankle, and he is a little limp getting up. Just trying to shake off that left foot.
And of course, for the benefit of those at home, interesting note here, Michael Brown swinging a bright blue bat. Actually, a couple of guys with blue bats. Standing in the on-deck circle with one as well is Benefield.
Representing that Chatham Anglers team, formerly the Chatham Athletics. Still colloquially, I'm trying my best here, known as the Chatham A's.
Of course, not the only team on the Cape to change their name. Of course, the Hyannis Mets changing to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks.
3-1 is sent out towards shallow center. Preisner back there makes the catch for out number 2. Tatum Levins, I think, kind of caught some crossfire on the bat as Brown let go of it. Looks like he's okay.
Yeah, Levin's a bit shaken up, but it looks no worse for wear, and you see home plate umpire Larry Rosenberg walks the baseball out to the pitcher to try to give him some time to recover. Colin, I want to retract a statement I made earlier. I'm no longer impressed by the blue bats because it appears that all of the bats for Chatham are blue. Thought it was a cool personal choice. Apparently it is not.
Looks like it's tradition, actually, as first pitch to Benefield is in for a strike.
Well, and of course, my memory bank's a little bit fuzzy by some of the chaos that happened in the last year. Were the bats blue back in 2019 as well?
It's a good question.
I don't think they were.
Levins on the ball overthrows his pitcher. Luckily, no one on base, so no harm done. But back to the name change situation, a lot of people might wonder why the Harwich Mariners didn't have to change their name as the 1-1 is fouled straight back. Their name actually predated when the Seattle Mariners joined Major League Baseball, so because of that reasoning, they were able to keep the name.
Yep, the old "we were here first" argument.
1-2 is in there for a called strike 3. A strong top of the 6th inning as Dalton Smith gets the Anglers down 1-2-3. We head to the bottom half of inning number 6. Chatham 6, Harwich 5. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Mariners YouTube network. Cy Nielsen out for his 3rd inning of work as he looks to maintain Chatham Anglers' 1-run lead in the home half of the 6th on the road here in Harwich. Bottom of the order due up for the Mariners. Preisner, Malgeri, and Hughes due up. They are a combined 1 for 5 with a couple of runs scored. So, Tyler, we're starting to see the depth of this Mariners lineup take shape as you get more and more guys on this roster and more experience for the guys that have already been here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's also essential as you talk about it. You know, we've kind of brought it up throughout the season, but a lot of those guys get settled in faster when they return, and that helps the guys around them get settled in and acclimated faster. So, you know, a good group of guys, they're all out there learning from each other, and you can already see the fruits of that labor as guys like Preisner and Carter Potts showing up and having an instant impact.
Zach Preisner, who's 0 for 2 with a couple of flyouts, digs in. And the first pitch misses. From the windup, that one is just off the plate. Count actually now even at 1-1. Big swing by Preisner, and he falls behind. A 1-2 count. Really good crowd on hand on this Sunday afternoon. The 1-2. Chopped foul off of Preisner. Didn't seem to get him too flush, so he'll just step back into the box and reload.
Yep, and again, 1-2 here. Good at bat, trying to work it deep. Preisner, Malgeri, and Hal Hughes trying to get a rally going here for the M's, still down by 1.
Another 1-2 up and away.
Of course, Malgeri, the first of a number of guys who have now launched a home run over the fence.
2-2 swung on and missed, strike 3 as Zach Preisner goes down swinging. That is 4 batters and 4 strikeouts over the last inning and a third for Cy Nielsen. He's been really effective out of the pen, and now he'll be tasked with facing Ben Malgeri with 1 down in the bottom of the 6th.
Yep, and all 4 of those strikeouts of the swinging variety. So trying to work another quick half inning here, and another guy that if he keeps going like this, you wonder if Tom Holliday will go to the old 3-3-3.
First pitch, swing and a miss to Malgeri. Right now, there's no action in the Chatham bullpen, so you might be onto something. Think that someone might be getting at least stretching as a count even at 1-1 if they're prepared to go in for the bottom of the 7th. No action for Harwich as well, as Malgeri swings and misses 1-2 to the Northeastern Husky.
Yep, opportunity is going to be aplenty here for Harwich, but you got to find a way to get it going. We're seeing more of that pitcher's duel now that the bullpens are in.
Malgieri laces one out towards center field, falling quickly, and it drops in front of Trinkle for a one-out single. So Ben Malgieri continues the hot streak he's been on as he reaches base for the second time this afternoon.
Yep, first guy in 5 batters to reach base for Harwich, and an opportunity here for Hal Hughes, who had a little blue single out to center back in the 3rd inning to try to keep that streak going here for the M's.
Right-handed hitting Hughes digs in. Tying run at first in Malgieri, who can run. As the second baseman Hughes swings and misses for a strike.
Yeah, for as aggressive as what we're used to seeing Harwich on the base paths, they haven't had as many stolen bases this season as what I think we expected. Part of that is the guys that have gotten on, but it'd be interesting to see if that picks up throughout the season.
0-1, up and away.
Also a lot more difficult with a lefty holding you on over there at first base. Less likely to take off, as he always has the option to take that back foot off the rubber, and now you're caught between first and second.
Nielsen looks at first. Runner going, pitches low. The throw down is wide as Malgieri's into second safely. He thought about taking off for third, but decided against it. Probably the right decision, as he does represent the tying run, but he does pick up a stolen base.
Let me go ahead and add something there. Absolutely the right decision as Trinkle came in. He was already in shallow center field, and with any even reasonable college arm would have gunned Malgieri down at third. But a good aggressive steal there, and now the tying run in scoring position.
Hughes with a big opportunity to make it a brand new ball game. Mariners have come close to tying it, but haven't quite been able to do so after falling behind 5-0 in the top of the first inning. Nielsen's 2-1. Fly ball down the right field line. That will make its way out of play. It's been a hot spot over there on the hill down the right field line.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a sign posted, but if you do sit over there here at White House Field, beware of bats and balls leaving the field of play. May have to mix in a PA announcement for the people at home as well.
It's one thing that Falmouth had a lot of, making sure to keep fans safe, as there are a lot of areas where it can get dangerous at Go Fuller Field. Fastball misses inside. The count now full to Hughes.
Of course, the one other thing that we forgot about, or at least I forgot about from Gov Fuller Field out in Falmouth, the old sponsorship of the foul ball.
Yep.
Which is great when it happens once per batter. Not so much anything beyond that.
I feel like we heard it at least 5 times yesterday.
It was more than 5.
Full count pitch. Ground ball, left side. It's a fair ball. It's down the line past the glove of Benefield. They're going to send Malgieri. Play at the plate. Here comes the throw, the dive, and he is safe. Tie game, 6-6. Hal Hughes drives in. Ben Malgieri, it's a base hit, and we have a brand new ball game at White House Field.
RBI double down the line. Just misplayed a little bit there by Benefield. Looked like he was too focused on trying to get the throw to first that he didn't get the ball in his glove, and it rolls down the line. Clearly a fair ball. And how about the speed from Malgieri, blazing around third base? Never a doubt they were going to send him the entire time, and here comes Tom Holliday to have a word with Cy Nielsen.
And just like that, right on cue, it's almost exactly what we saw from Austin Vernon when we thought he was rolling along, and then things just kind of falling apart in his last expected inning for Cy Nielsen. He's talking with his manager, and the bullpen is now active for the Anglers.
Yep, absolutely. You wonder if anybody is even eligible right now in terms of warm-up pitches thrown to come in. So this may have to stay with Cy Nielsen, who, again, has pitched well in this one. He gave up a home run to Nick Lucky, but after that, 4 consecutive strikeouts, a ground out, a single to Malgieri, and then the RBI double to Hal Hughes, and just like that, it's a tie ball game.
Guess who steps into the plate? Nick Lucky.
There it is. Already 1 home run off of him today. Doesn't have to crank one, just has to keep the inning going. 1 away, fresh count to work with, and I believe, going to go ahead and get confirmation on this here. No, never mind. I was looking at that wrong. Completely ignore me, Colin. Continue.
6-6 the score in the bottom of the 6th. Hal Hughes takes his lead off second base. steps Lucky, who's 1 for 3 with the solo shot in the fourth off Nielsen. He squares to show bunt, but pulls it back for ball 1. Maybe a little bit of small ball here for the Mariners.
Well, and this is a big AB because, again, it's not going to get any easier here. You've got Hood, Wilkin, Beloso, and Putz due up next. Got to get the outs when you can here.
Lucky watches a called strike.
And we've seen enough Steve Englert baseball, Colin, to know that the corners are playing in right now because Tom Holliday knows the chance of a bunt opportunity here is not going to go by the wayside. Definitely an option here for this team.
Line drive, base hit into left field for Lucky. They're going to hold Hughes at third. Lucky rounds the bag hard, bluffing the throw. Was the cutoff man, and just like that, runners at the corners, the go-ahead run at third base with still 1 out.
Yep, we could see something big happen here.
It's the 7th hit of the game for Harwich compared to just 2 for Chatham. But it is a tie ball game. No motion from the dugout. So right now it is still Nielsen's game.
Well, Colin, I don't think they have anybody ready yet. I mean, you see kind of a upped pace out there down the right field line in the bullpen trying to get ready, but for the time being, I think the only option is Cy Nielsen continuing at this point. He's a little shaken at this point.
First pitch to Josh Hood. Line drive, base hit into left. That's going to roll all the way to the warning track. The go-ahead run and Hal Hughes scores. They will hold Lucky at third. RBI double Josh Hood. The Mariners have their first lead of the contest.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what the M's needed in that spot. Forget the bunt, forget the small ball. Ropes one down the fence, or down the line rather. And the Mariners are on top 6-7, and they have to continue pressing the advantage as now Tom Holliday comes out. That's likely going to do it for Cy Nielsen.
Yeah, that'll be it for him. How it all came crumbling down after 4 consecutive strikeouts. A single, a double, a single, a double. And now Cy Nielsen leaves the game on the hook. We'll tell you about the new pitcher in just a moment. Harwich leads 7-6 in the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back to White House Field, as what a turn of events it has been after what seemed like an insurmountable deficit that the Mariners had after 1 inning of play. Trailing 5-0, they have come back to score 7 of the last 8 runs and now lead at 7-6 after chasing Cy Nielsen from the game, who's now on the hook for the loss. 2 2/3 innings pitched, allowed 5 hits, has so far allowed 3 earned runs, but is responsible for the 2 runners on base. Walked 1 and struck out 4. The new pitcher for Chatham Anglers is Jacob Waters, the right-hander out of West Virginia.
Yep, and we'll see if Waters can come in. Ironically enough, bringing in Waters to try to put out the fire that the Harwich Mariners have started. Second and third, Brock Wilkin at the plate. This is what you want if you're the Mariners, but the best thing that we've seen in this game is still the fight shown by the M's here. I mean, they never found themselves out of this game, and you talk about a game yesterday, yes, they put up a lot of runs, but a lot of unearned runs. Tonight, they have earned everything that they've gotten, and they have a chance to extend what could be their biggest lead of the afternoon, up by 1.
Corners in for Chatham. First pitch to Wilkin, misses up and away. Brock Wilkin out of Wake Forest, struck out looking in the first, and then hit a grand slam in the third inning before grounding out in the fourth.
Yep, Cade Beloso on deck. Carter Putz due up after that.
Another RBI chance for Wilkin. He's seen a ton of them so far on the Cape, and he has cashed in on a lot of them. Fastball at 96 from the hard-throwing Waters. Misses low and outside, 2-0.
Yep, and again, I mean, almost anything other than a strikeout helps you here. If you're Brock Wilkin, put the ball in the outfield, you get a run across more than likely, as they have plenty of speed, and Nick Lucky standing on third base.
Waters comes set. A look at Hood at second. Now the pitch. Fastball, that catches the outside corner.
Yep, and you see Wilkin kind of shake that off. He knew it was a strike the second it went into the zone. And now the count 2-1 here on the Mariners' third baseman.
Zach Preisner led off the inning with a strikeout, then 4 consecutive hits, including a pair of doubles for the Mariners. 2 home in the inning. 2-1 breaking ball, gets away from the catcher, and that will score. Nick Lucky from third base. 8-6, Harwich leads on the wild pitch.
Absolutely, and you get him any way you can. Harwich able to find a run come across, and Nick Lucky gives Harwich their biggest lead of the day. It's a 2-run advantage for the Mariners. Josh Hood moves up 90 feet.
So Hood stands at third. The infield now in, looking to cut him down at the plate. Wilkins' power ground ball is probably going to be screaming at them. So they might even be able to hold Hood at third. The 2-1 check swing, and it hits Brock Wilkin, and he heads down to first base. So works as a de facto intentional walk, or does it?
No,
as
I
Wilkin
believe
being called back.
I believe either Wilkin or home plate umpire, more than likely home plate umpire Larry Rosenberg, didn't know the count. At least that's what it looks like.
Now, I think they might have said he swung and the ball hit him. So yeah, he actually offered on that check swing, and they ruled it a swing to make it 2-2. The pitch. Chopper, that's through for a base hit. Brock Wilkin with an RBI single to left field as Josh Hood comes around to score. Maybe he's kind of glad he swung at that pitch. It's 9-6.
Absolutely. Gets the better end of that deal. And again, that's what a good hitter does. He comes back from a tough situation like that, settles in and does what he needs to do. And the Mariners now knocking on the door of back-to-back double-digit offensive nights. How about that? After the first 5 games of the season, saw a very lackluster numbers put up offensively by the M's.
7 runs through the first 4 games, 20 in the last 15 innings. What a turnaround it has been. Ball in the dirt. That gets away from Fail once again. Another wild pitch as Waters really struggling with his control. Wilkin up to second base.
Yeah, I mean, this is just an absolute disaster for the Anglers, and the Mariners capitalizing at every turn. I mean, can't really ask anything else. You just have to either do a better job of getting the block if you're behind the plate as Fail, or on the other side of things. I mean, you mentioned Waters has just been a little bit wild here early on.
Wilkin standing at second. Beloso, the batter. He fouls the 1-0 straight back. 98. So velocity not the issue for Waters. All that speed and can't really control where it's going right now.
But we've seen on the Cape, again, that velocity, it just helps the batter. If you get a hold of one, you really do get a hold of one.
And we saw today, actually, in the professional level, Garrett Cole, 100 miles an hour right down the middle. Rafi Devers took it 450 feet into the right field bleachers at Fenway Park. Strike called on the outside corner as Beloso in danger of striking out for the 4th time in as many trips.
Yeah, Beloso, things have just been really rough at the plate for him. Mentioned again, 0 for 6 yesterday, 2 strikeouts. Coming back today, 0 for 3 with 3 Ks, make it 4.
He swings and misses at the breaking ball and goes down on strikes once again. Beloso just kind of looking up at the sky as he walks back to the dugout for out number 2 in the home half of the 6th.
But you got to feel good, again, if you're Cade Beloso, that these at-bats are coming in games, that your team is finding ways to get runs around you. That'll keep a guy going throughout the season. So Beloso, plenty of opportunities coming up to try to make good. And right now, his team leading it by 3 with another runner in scoring position, and Carter Putz at the dish.
Putz 1 for 3 with a double and a pair of Ks. He check swings and misses. Taking off for third is Wilkin. He got a great jump, so he moves up 90 feet. A base hit will bring him home as Putz behind in the count 0-1.
Yeah, another, I believe probably this time more of a passed ball, and I believe also an 0-2 count here.
No balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. Breaking ball just misses.
And one more of those, and you've got a run coming across to score. And it would be a 10-6 lead for the Mariners. I mean, you have to do something. You have to do better. I mean, that's really all it is. It sounds simple, and I know us, talking up here from the booth, it sounds easy, but for a future professional catcher, this one will miss in the dirt to make it a 2-2 count. Just got to keep it in front of you.
Mariners looking to get back to 500 and also chase down Chatham Anglers in the standings, who are currently tied atop the standings. As 2-1 is the count. So it was, in fact, a 1-strike count. Now it's 2-2 as Putz fouls that one back.
We were going to get there sooner or later.
Brock Wilkin at third, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 4 home in this bottom of the 6th inning, which has shown the Harwich Mariners taking their first lead, and now they are up by 3. The pitch, breaking ball rolled over outside the third base bag foul.
Yep, so the count stays 2-2. Another good at bat here from Harwich. I feel like a broken record saying that over and over again, but they just continue to put them together this season. A big part of the reason they found this offensive success over the last 4 or 5 games.
Tatum Levin's waiting in the on-deck circle. The inning continues. Another 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 97 on the fastball as Waters blows it by Carter Putz. Third strikeout for Putz this afternoon, but not before the Harwich Mariners strike for 4 runs and take the lead after 6 innings. Harwich 9, Chatham 6. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Seventh inning from Harwich, Massachusetts. The Mariners lead the Chatham Anglers 9-6. And for the play-by-play duties, here's Tyler Henry.
Absolutely. Good to be back here again at White House Field for another Harwich Mariners ball game, and one that the M's are leading. 9-6 currently, your score. 3 more innings left to go. Colin, this has been a back-and-forth battle, a lot of home runs, a lot of offense here. Really not what we were expecting coming into it, but we have been treated to a show so far this evening.
Craziest thing is Chatham is two hits, but they both traveled probably combined 900 feet.
Yeah, and again, 6 runs on 2 hits. It really does just go to show you can't afford to put guys on base in big spots. Leading things off here and swinging at the second pitch he sees, taking it right at Preisner, who throws to first in time for the out, is John Michael Fail. 1 away.
That's an important out after Fail's last at-bat where he deposited one into the trees. This time keeping the ball down in the zone. I think Dalton Smith saw the pitch that Nick Cinnacola threw up in the zone, and he went up and got it, this time making him reach down to try to elevate the ball. Unable to do so. Nice play over at short by Zach Preisner.
Yep, so that'll bring up Matthew Garcia. Stands in from the right side. First pitch he sees misses up and out, and as you mentioned, another inning of work coming up here for Dalton Smith, who has looked good so far. He has retired the first 4 batters he has seen, including 2 strikeouts after a really good start by Nick Cinnacola, with the exception, again, of that big first inning.
really just a couple of mistakes he's made. But he ends up with the no decision after all that's transpired as Smith falls behind 3-0 in the count.
Well, after leaving the top of the first with a 5-run deficit, I think Nick Cinnacola will take a no decision today. As that one in there for a called strike, and the count goes now to 3-1 here on Garcia. Garcia 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts today. Swings and fouls the next pitch he sees off, and the count goes here to 3-2. Aside from pitchers, of course, no substitutions at this point in this game. We'll see if pinch hitters come into play. We know Chatham likes to empty the benches late in games, typically under Tom Holliday. Payoff pitch, swung on and fouled off. We'll do it again as Matthew Garcia spoils Dalton Smith's 3-2.
And obviously the Mariners need to take care of business in these final 3 innings, but this is really the start of an important 4-game stretch for Harwich.
It really is. Swing and a ball laced into left field. That'll get down near the line. Picked up on that side by Beloso. Holding up at first is Matthew Garcia, and the Anglers have a runner on with 1 away.
Some nice 2-strike hitting by Garcia. Struck out in his first 2 at-bats, this time changing his approach, shortening up and able to get around on that one. And here we go, Tyler, already seeing some pinch hitters as we get into the later innings for Chatham.
Yep, looks like the leadoff man going to be replaced. Cam Schick was 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. He did reach on a walk. He will be replaced in the lineup here by Logan Britt. Britt coming by way of Aledo, Texas. Playing for Texas A&M, still looking for his first hit in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Keep in mind, Andrew Benefield earlier also looking for his first hit of the league, and well, parked a grand slam over the left field fence. Swinging and missing at the first pitch here is the aforementioned Britt.
Yeah, Britt appeared in 65 games in Aggie land, 37 of which were starts at .268.
Next pitch he sees in there for a strike, and Dalton Smith wasting no time going right at him. He's out ahead 0-2.
Sophomore year was a .270 batting average, 5 home runs, 20 runs batted in.
0-2 from Smith, swung on, barely getting a piece of it there is Britt, but he stays alive to keep the AV rolling.
But back to what I was saying about this important stretch for Harwich. They have this game against Chatham, who's ahead of them in the standings. Tomorrow they have Orleans, who they lost to and are also battling in the East. And then YD after that on the road, who's also at the top of the standings.
Absolutely. Here's a ball hit high out into right center field. Tracking it over is Malgiri. He'll settle under it and make the catch for out number 2.
Yeah, everyone kind of held their collective breath at White House Field, knowing what we've seen so far with fly balls out to the deepest part of the parks, but deepest parts of the park, I should say. But that one hanging up just enough time. Malgiri, seems like every ball out in center field, Ben Malgiri gets an excellent read on, and he was in there plenty of time to make the catch for out number 2.
Yeah, anything hit in the air is going to bring back bad memories, or good memories, depending on which part of the park it's hit to for the Harwich Mariners today. Is out ahead 0-1 with a strike here to Josh Rivera is Dalton Smith. Smith working at a quick pace, comes set, checks the runner to first, and brings home the pitch. That'll miss inside. Count starts off at 1-1.
It's got to feel good, too, for Dalton Smith getting out there and all of a sudden being in a spot where he can pick up a victory and be a big reason why his team wins after that first game against Orleans.
Here's a ball getting well under this, tossing his bat back to the dugout in frustration is Josh Rivera as another ball out to center. That'll be put away, and that will retire the side in the 7th. So nobody comes across, not even really threatening here to the Anglers. To the home half of inning number 7 we go. It's 7th inning stretch time here at White House Field, and we'll be right back with more baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back here at the ballpark, Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey. The Harwich Mariners enjoying a 3-run lead as we head to the home half of inning number 7. Logan Britt takes over out in left field for Cameron Schick. As Tatum Levin steps to the dish, first pitch is going to miss low here for ball 1.
And also a new catcher in the game for Chatham. Trying to see who it is. I believe it's Kevin Parada behind the plate, number 8.
Yep, we'll get an official confirmation on that here in just a moment. Unfortunately, with a single digit, it can be kind of tough with the chest protector strap covering up most of the numeral. But I believe you're right, Colin. As it'll be a 1-1 count here on Tatum Levins. Next pitch, this one will miss low. Count goes to 2-1. Another inning of work coming up here for Jacob Waters, who, to his credit, does allow some runs to come across the score, but none of them credited to him. So a clean slate, and he can work however he wants, although he opts to go from the stretch here with nobody on base, delivers another strike in here. And I believe we got 3-1 on the scoreboard. 3-1 pitch. That misses outside, and it's going to be a walk issued to Tatum Levins to start the inning. Colin, we've seen this song and dance before.
Yeah, we certainly have, and for Levins, you know, he hasn't been hitting the ball all that well in this game, but it hasn't really mattered. He's drawn 2 walks, reached on an error, was able to put the ball in play and keep that 3rd inning alive. But all things considered, can't ask for much more, and now he represents a pretty important insurance run at first base with nobody out.
Absolutely. That brings up Zach Preisner, who is 0 for 3 today with a strikeout. First pitch that he sees misses down and away. Count goes to 1-0 here on the member of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Due up next, it'll be Ben Malgiri, then Hal Hughes if needed. Still nobody out in the inning. Mariners with a runner on first and a 3-run lead. Waters' next pitch in there for a strike, coming in at about 96. Colin, you noticed early on, decent velocity here for Jacob Waters.
Yeah, that certainly hasn't been the issue. It was control when he first came in, but started to settle down, attacking guys a lot more, but even so, still walked the leadoff man.
You also wonder who may come in here for the Harwich Mariners, as they're just 6 outs away from their first back-to-back victory of the season. And if you'll remember back to that 2019 year, again, as a pitch will miss to Preisner here, making a 2-1 count. The Mariners didn't really look all that good through the first 10 to 12 games of that 2019 season. I believe at one point, the only reason they weren't in the basement, as this ball is going to be laced up the hole in between the first and second baseman, and that's going to be another knock here. This one for Zach Preisner, who gets his first hit of the day, puts runners on first and second for Ben Malgiri. But to go back to that point, Colin, this is a Mariners team that we were sitting there about a week and a half, 2 weeks into the season, and we were going, Brewster's not looking great, but this team is not far out of the basement. The next thing you know, Harwich comes back, rips off an insane stretch to end the season, and makes it all the way to the Cape Cod Championship Series.
Yeah, and that was, of course, when 4 teams made the playoffs in each division. This year, it's only 2, so the pressure is even more pronounced to get off to a good start. 2 and 3, not exactly the record you want, but gotta like where things are going over the last couple of games.
Yeah, as this first pitch will miss outside here to Ben Malgiri. Fortunately, the race right now out in the East is very tight.
Yes,
Harwich, despite being 2 and 3, is only a game and a half out of first, which, ironically enough, is held by the Chatham Anglers here. It's one of the advantages. Bourne has just been tearing the heck out of the entire Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they have not discriminated against any team. Whoever they face, home or road, they're just beating the pulp out of. Run differential going into today of 35-15.
Yep, including the Harwich Mariners, who they picked up a victory on a couple of nights ago. But the Mariners, if they can continue this and hold on for a victory here, as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed by Malgiri, they'll have won 3 out of their last 4. More importantly, they'll have won their last 2 in a row. And as you mentioned, Colin, a big road stretch coming up here for the M's.
The best part, reinforcements are on the way.
Absolutely. Here comes the 1-1. Another big swing and a miss. Coming up empty here is Malgiri, who makes it a 1-2 count. Malgiri today is 1 for 2. Reached on a walk, came across to score 2 runs for the M's. Batting from the right side. Runner in scoring position, nobody out. 2 on here for the Mariners, first and second. Waters looks the runner back to second, brings home the pitch. That'll miss outside. Count goes to 2-2, and Waters so far has not thrown a wild pitch this inning. And why is that notable? He threw 3 of them just an inning ago. Allowed a couple of Mariners runs to come across. 2-2 the count right now to Ben Malgiri. The pitch. Misses low, and it's a full count here. Harwich making pitchers earn it all season long.
I think I found that pitcher's duel you were looking for tonight, Tyler. It's got lost in Orleans. Bottom of the ninth, no score between YD and the Firebirds.
And of course, the unfortunate thing with that, with the new CCBL rules this season, we could see a soccer draw, 0-0, out in Orleans. We'll keep you up to date. But right now, 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. The pitch swung on and flared out to right. This will have a chance to get down in fair territory. It gets on the right side of the chalk line, and that's going to be a base knock. They'll hold everybody up. It's a single for Ben Malgiri, and the bases are juiced for Hal Hughes, who already has an RBI double today.
It really has been awesome to see Ben Malgeri hit and field over the last few games. He has been such an underrated, important player to this Mariners team as they start to get things going at the plate. 2 strikes, full count, and he just goes the other way with it just like the batter before him, Preisner did. Just able to sneak it inside that foul line. What an opportunity for Harwich to really break this one open.
And again, these were the breaks that the Harwich opponents seem to be getting those first couple of games. Now the Mariners starting to benefit from the bloop singles and whatnot. Hal Hughes at the plate, first pitch he sees. It's going to miss inside for ball 1.
Game has gone final in Orleans. 0-0 will be the final score.
You know, I understand, obviously, on the CCBL's part, trying to keep the season short, but unfortunate for the spectators. Here, however, there has been a show put on by both sides as Hal Hughes will take strike 1, the count even at 1-1.
Tyler, what time did this game start at? This must have flown by.
I believe it started after our game, but again, when you look at a 0-0 ball game, it certainly does go quickly. Here comes the 1-1. Swing and a tip foul, they say. Just 9 combined hits in this entire game between YD and Orleans.
I think maybe it was a 6 o'clock start. Obviously, you know, Orleans are...
5:30 on Sunday.
So it was 5:30. So they did start at the same time as the Harwich game, but still, just over 2 hours. I mean, people got out of there in a hurry.
Absolutely. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count here on Hal Hughes. Pitch dropped in there for strike 3, and he will walk back to the dugout empty-handed. Bases stay loaded here for Nick Lucky.
Yeah, it looked like Hal was expecting something else, that breaking ball. Did not expect that at all, and ends up going down Lucky. But the good news is, still only 1 out, and the lineup card turns over for Harwich.
That it certainly does. Lucky at the plate, already a home run. 2 for 4 today for Nick Lucky. 2 runs scored, a home run, a single, and 2 strikeouts. And he will get his first look here at Jacob Waters, who is about to go through the lineup for the first time on his part. Bases loaded, first pitch to him. In there for a called strike 1.
Are we done seeing grand slams this evening?
We may not be. You never know. Lucky's already taken 1 out of the park. Very difficult, though, to get 2 home runs in 1 game, regardless of who you are or where you're from. The 0-1. Big swing and a miss. Well, he was trying. Maybe trying to knock some of the lights out on the new scoreboard. He falls behind here 0-2. And I'll tell you what, it could be of little consequence that the Mariners started the inning by getting the bases loaded if Jacob Waters can come back and get back-to-back strikeouts here. Josh Hood standing on deck. Again, the bases loaded, an 0-2 count here on Nick Lucky. The pitch. Swung on and taken up the right side. It'll have a chance to get through. It's cut off by the second baseman. Throw to first is in time, but it will be an RBI ground out for Nick Lucky as Tatum Levens comes across the score. Everyone else moves up a station, and Josh Hood is at the dish.
Another RBI for Nick Lucky, his second of the game. That's all you can really ask for. Didn't hit it all that hard, but able to find a gap so that Chatham couldn't turn the double play. That's a really big insurance run. All of a sudden, it's no longer a save situation, and we know how anxious things got last night for Harwich, even with a big lead.
Yeah, no lead feels safe in the Cape Cod Baseball League. You're talking about 10 teams with some of the best offensive talent the country has to offer, and it's even more dangerous now because due to COVID constraints and everything else, the MLB draft hasn't happened yet. So a lot of really good talent here on the Cape. This may be one of the best starts to the season you'll see for anybody. Got a stat that'll back that up here in just a moment, but for right now, focusing up on Josh Hood's at bat. Jacob Waters steps off the dish. Still a great chance for Harwich. Runners on second and third. 2 away here in the inning. The M's with a 4-run lead. They would love to make it 5 or more. The 0-1. Check swing in the dirt. No chance he went around, and that is the call by first base umpire John LeBone. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count right now. Jacob Waters will get back to work. Again, a couple more insurance runs for the Mariners would have them feeling a lot better. A 4-run lead, only so safe in this league. The 1-1. Big swing and a miss there. Josh Hood trying to get a big cut, comes up empty.
He's a guy who I think we haven't seen the full ability of his power yet at the plate. He's had some really hard-hit balls into left field. Once he can start getting that launch angle, I think we're going to start seeing some of his line drives turn into deep fly balls that leave the stadium.
Absolutely. Right now trying to battle back with a 1-2 count. Waters trying to get out of the inning with 2 away and 2 in scoring position. The pitch swung on and spoiled. Hood, of course, with the RBI double back in the 6th inning. He reached on 2 walks as well. Officially on the day, 1 for 2. A very productive day at the plate for the Mariners DH. That's why they keep his bat in the lineup. Hood digs in. Looking in for the sign is Waters, the 1-2. And that is in there. Strike 3, and that will do it for the 7th. But the Mariners get a crucial insurance run to take a 10-6 lead. To the 8th inning we go. More Harwich Mariners baseball coming up right after this. You're listening on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey, the M's closing in on what could be a crucial victory at this point of the season. And Colin, one other point, we've talked about a number of the new rules. Of course, only 2 teams from the East and West making it to the playoffs. But on top of all of that, with just a 40-game season, every game feels like it means a little bit more. As we see Dalton Smith come out for another inning of work, he delivers a first pitch out of the zone here to Caden Grice.
Especially, I think, the division games. It seems like a real heightened sense of urgency for both teams.
Absolutely. You're talking about a Bourne team that if they keep up at the pace that they've got, they may be the first team to secure a spot in the postseason at this point. 1-0 misses up. I made a point earlier I wanted to come back to here, Colin. I mentioned that there's an abnormal amount of talent on the Cape this summer because, again, the draft has not yet happened. As a pitch over the plate will make it a 3-1 count here on Grice. And looking at the numbers here early on, it has been a batter's league at this point. Only 2 ERAs in the CCBL this summer so far, under 4. As a walk issued here on 5 pitches, and Grice, the leadoff man, is aboard here for the A's.
Yeah, and you wonder why that might be. It's possible that all that time missed due to COVID the year prior, maybe pitching or taking some time to adjust. Maybe it's just kind of an eagerness from the batters swinging away and so far really connecting on these balls. But really interesting dynamic. The league, I feel like the year before was really dominated by pitching. We saw some outstanding starting pitching throughout the Cape League in 2019.
Yeah, and typically, I mean, it's interesting too because, yeah, typically pitchers have the edge early in the season as guys get accustomed to swinging a wood bat, something they don't do at any point during their respective collegiate seasons. But, again, so far this year, offense has been king, and that's let teams like Bourne jump out to early leads on everybody. As this pitch across the plate, it'll make it a 1-1 count on Lyle Miller-Green, who is 0 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts. Chatham, 6 runs on 3 hits, 1 error. Harwich has done it a little bit the more earned way as this ball taken a short, picked up there by Preisner. Throw the short way for 1, back across in time. 6-4-3 double play will wipe the bags clean, and Caden Trinkle will now bat with nobody on.
This This is an excellent flip by Zach Preisner over at short. He kind of like sidearm shuffle past it to Hal Hughes. Perfect timing on that play, and we know Hughes is certainly capable of turning a double play over at second base. Makes a dart of a throw over to Carter. Putz says that pitch comes in and plunks Caden Schrenkel.
Unfortunately, the sound that was made, clearly coming off of that plastic arm protector, so gets him in the armor. That's why guys wear stuff like that. But that had a pop. I mean, regardless of how much armor you're wearing, that's not going to feel good in the morning.
No question. I mean, whether it's you're hitting a helmet or an elbow guard or shin guard, still a lot of vibration that takes place, and hopefully he's okay. Seemed to trot down to first, no problem.
That brings up Michael Brown's spot in the lineup. Brown now walking back to the dugout. See if he's going to grab a new bat. No, it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter. And I don't fully understand that. Brown was at the plate, turns around and walks back to the dugout. We're going to have a replacement.
Yeah, it looks like it's Jake DeLeo coming in to hit.
From Temple, number 2, outfielder Jake DeLeo.
DeLeo from Georgia Tech.
Yep. So DeLeo comes in, and it's not as if Harwich was going to make a pitching change. They do have a couple of arms up and warming in the pen, but I don't know. Sometimes Tom Holliday likes to try to get a little crafty. We'll see if it pays off for him. New batter will swing at the first pitch he sees and miss. In case you were wondering how Michael Brown was doing today, he was 0 for 2, but he did reach on a walk and came in to score on the grand slam back in the first inning. But we also know Tom Holliday likes to empty his bench in situations like this, especially early on in the game, which can be a bit of a disaster for those scoring at home, but certainly does throw an interesting kink into the game here. The 1-1. Cross for a strike, and it's a 1-2 count now on the pinch hitter, Jake DeLeo.
Maybe more notably is the fact that Chatham only has 3 hits. All 3 of them came from the next 3 guys due up.
Absolutely, and I sincerely doubt that we would see any of those guys replaced in the lineup. As you mentioned, most of the offense coming from the 7, 8, and 9 spots. You take them any way you can get them. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count right now. Dalton Smith looking to work another clean frame. The pitch. Swing and a ball taken right back at him, but off the foot. And it'll stay at a 1-2 count here.
Now, Tyler, obviously a couple of grand slams in this game. Got a trivia question for you.
Oh, no.
Who's the only Major League Baseball player to hit 2 grand slams in a single inning?
Josh Hamilton?
It's not.
Dang. I felt actually really confident about that.
I'll give you a hint in just a moment.
Okay. First, the 1-2 pitch from Smith. Just off the plate. Actually, a little bit further than off the plate. 2-2.
All right, your hint is that he has a son that is currently active in Major League Baseball.
Vladimir Guerrero.
You're close.
I know I have the right team because there are like 6 professional players' kids playing right now on that Blue Jays squad.
You actually don't. That's the crazy thing.
Interesting. This pitch is fouled away. The count stays here at 2-2.
Correct answer is Fernando Tatis Sr.
Oh, senior. I never would have gotten that.
Yeah.
There's no chance I was getting that. 2-2 pitch misses outside. It's now a full count.
That took place at Dodger Stadium back in I believe it was the early 2000s.
All right. I think Josh Hamilton became the first player to have. Josh Hamilton owns some kind of a Grand Slam record. I don't know what exactly it is. We'll get a check on that in between innings. Right now, a payoff pitch. Runner goes. Fouled away. Spoiled here by Jake DeLeo. And we will do it again. As now it's the Anglers' turn to go deep into counts.
Another Grand Slam kind of trivia. Bill Miller, the only guy to hit a Grand Slam on both sides of the plate.
Interesting. In there, strike 3. Breaking ball gets Jake DeLeo, and the side is retired. Strikeout number 3 on the day for Dalton Smith, and the Mariners just 3 outs away from putting this one to bed. But first, Harwich up to bat, looking for insurance runs. They lead at 10-6 here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Ems looking to put the finishing touches on this one, but first looking for some insurance runs, and what a part of the lineup up to do it here. Brock Wilkin, Cade Beloso, Carter Putz. Your three due up here for the Ems, Colin.
Yeah, that's a good three guys to have up based on what we've seen. Beloso, of course, struggling today, but it's always a good inning when you got Brock Wilkin due up.
Absolutely. Wilkin will be the leadoff man. First pitch he sees misses outside. As another inning of work coming up here for Jacob Waters, and you get the feeling Coach Tom Holliday probably not wanting to burn another arm in the bullpen, down by 4. As again, Chatham will have their last chance on the other side of the break. Waters has looked relatively okay with the exception of pitches like that, as that's in the dirt, gets all the way back to the screen.
And going back to the tie that's just took place out in Orleans between them and YD, might be best case scenario for the Mariners because they pass Orleans anyways and they still close the gap on YD.
Yeah, absolutely. Any tie between East teams, unless you're talking about somebody that just gets buried in the basement, is certainly good. But yeah, this is the first time. I'm trying to remember what. Colin, do you remember the first year that the CCBL went to a playoff system like what they have now?
I think it's just this is the first year due to COVID.
No, I meant just any playoff at all. Before it was just the top team from the East playing the top team from the West as Wilkin reaches on a 4-pitch walk.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I believe it was, I want to say it was sometime in the 80s or 90s. I'll have to go back and look. But you're right, it wasn't always that way. They didn't have that expanded type playoffs. And I will say this, it's tough that only 4 teams make it this year. I really love the excitement that builds in August when you have 8 teams battling it out for a Cape Cod Baseball League title.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It'll be interesting with 4, but my point in all of that is Beloso will take the first pitch for a ball here, is that it does 2 things. First of all, again, this is the first time since I believe the playoff era began that you're going to have less than a majority of the league make the postseason. 6 out of the 10 teams will be sent home early as the 1-0 misses high to Beloso. But number 2, Colin, we've talked about this a little bit. You're going to have a lot of guys that get drafted that leave early. You're going to have a lot of guys go to Team USA that leave early. The teams that we're going to see in August are not the teams that we're seeing here in June. You could potentially have the best team in the Cape, but if you don't do the work here in the early part of the season, it's very possible that a great team, maybe even the best, could still miss the playoffs. As Beloso swings at the next pitch, sends it high in the air. This will chase the shortstop Rivera onto the outfield grass, and he backtracks and makes the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, that's just the nature of the beast with the condensed playoffs this year. 4 teams, although a team like Bourne, who's 6-0 to start the season, they're certainly earning it right now. The fact that they already have a 3.5-game lead as it stands, of course, other games still have to go final. The top teams are always going to earn their playoff spot if you end up winning the division.
Most certainly, but it makes the early part of the year, again, before all the reinforcements arrive and all the early departures leave, that much more important. As the next batter up is Carter Putz. Carter Putz. Batting from the right side, he'll take the first pitch for a ball. Waters really struggling with the zone here. As he walks Wilkin, gets Beloso to fly out, and now delivers another pitch up and out for a 2-0 count here on Carter Putz.
And as I said, Bourne 6-0. That, of course, with the score going final from Lowell Park as they knock off Katuitt on the road 9-2.
Yep, so another victory there. Katuitt, another team that was in the championship series last year, off to a bit of a slow start here in 2021. They dropped to 2-4. Down and away makes it a 3-0 count to Carter Putz. If I'm the Mariners batting, or if I'm anyone in the Mariners lineup right now, I'm not swinging until I see a strike.
Yeah, at this point, Waters' pitch count really high, so that command really starting to drift. And even the velos dropped a couple of miles per hour as well.
Yep, fatigue starting to set in, and it is going to be a narrow strike 1 at the knees. There is an arm up and warming out there in the Anglers bullpen, but if you're Tom Holliday, you'd love to get through this inning without anybody coming in here. You want to try to preserve your arms for closer games. 3-1. In the dirt, that'll get away from the catcher. Doesn't matter. Everybody will move up. Carter Putz will take his base. As turning and taking a look at second is Brock Wilkin, and the Mariners have first and second for Tatum Levens. And here comes Tom Holliday. That may be the end of the line here for Jacob Waters.
Yeah, Holliday made a peek over towards the bullpen, so you wonder if that is in fact going to be it. Seems to be really laboring out there.
Yep, and I believe that will be it for Jacob Waters. So we will step away. When we come back, we'll get you a look at the new pitcher into the game here for the Anglers. Mariners on top 10-6 with runners at first and second and 1 away when we come back. More Harwich baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to White House Field. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey, new pitcher coming into the game here for the Chatham A's. It'll be Logan Chapman, another young arm with an opportunity to try to prove his mettle, working here on a temp contract. And despite the fact that this is a 4-run game, Colin, these are some pretty big pitches coming up here for Logan Chapman. Again, as we mentioned, reinforcements on the way for all 10 teams on the Cape. So an opportunity to prove himself, not only to the scouts watching on, but also to the coaching staff, trying to plead his case for a full-time spot. First man he'll face is Tatum Levens, who reached on a walk and came around to score his first time up. And he'll take ball one to start this at bat.
And really for any relief pitcher on the Cape, every single outing is just so important because you want to build the trust of your team and your manager and earn those high-leverage situations come the dog days of July and eventually the Cape Cod playoffs.
Absolutely. This one misses down. Count goes to 2-0 here as the righty from North Greenville University. From Easley, South Carolina, a rising junior, is Logan Chapman. This one misses in the dirt. Count goes to 3-0. Chapman put together a pretty impressive season, an ERA of 3.64 in 10 starts. 54 strikeouts, only 32 walks. But right now, he's got a 3-0 count on Tatum Levens, trying to battle his way back. Harwich has runners on first and second here in the home half of the eighth. A 4-run lead as well. This will be in there for a called strike. Count goes to 3-1, and Levens will take the bat off the shoulder. Working out of the stretch here, thrown in with his feet to the fire. Chapman delivers the pitch, and that will miss low. It's a 5-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded for Zach Preisner.
Oh, we can have some more Grand Slam conversations, I guess. Again, it's crazy how many times both teams have had those opportunities with the bases loaded. And for Preisner, just got off the schneid in the 7th inning with that single, looking to build some momentum off of it, the Notre Dame product. Really trying to make a name for himself early in this Cape League outing in just his second game.
Yep, so ducks on the pond for Zach Preisner. He's got Brock Wilkin at third, Carter Putz, his teammate, at second, Tatum Levens at first. Chapman's first pitch, down and away for ball one. Taking a look here, Logan Chapman does have one appearance already in the Cape. He pitched 1 inning, gave up 1 run, 1 strikeout, 4 hits. Comes in with an ERA of 9 here, getting a second look at Cape Cod hitting. And he will deliver a strike on a breaking ball at 76 into Preisner.
This is the first time that the Mariners have scored double digits in back-to-back games since July 16th and 17th in 2016.
Count goes to 1-1. Block, but not enough. Runner coming home. There won't be a throw. Is unable to pick it up. Is fail. And that is going to be another Mariners run off a wild pitch. It's now 11-6 Mariners.
think that's also the third time that Brock Wilkin is advanced on a wild pitch in this game. He has been so aggressive on these balls that have gotten away. Now, that ball seemed to trickle a little bit further away than initially expected. Parada a little late getting to that ball, and Wilkin, you give him an inch, he's taking a mile.
So the count here, 1 ball, 1 strike on Preisner. Carter Putz moves up to third. Tatum Levens moves up to second. Big RBI opportunity coming here to try to get the bat of Zach Preisner even hotter than it already has been. He'll swing through this. Count goes to 1-2. Plenty of other games going on around the Cape. Of course, we'll update you on that on the other side of the break. For right now, the Mariners looking to blow this even further open than it is. A chance to double up the Anglers. The 1-2 misses outside. Good stop. And Colin, typically you do rely on your catcher to make blocks. We've been talking about that all day long. Unfortunately, the fail-safe, if you will, not in full effect today.
It's kind of like being a goaltender in hockey. There's some tough ones to make, but people still expect you to make those plays.
Absolutely. Here comes the 2-2. Big swing and a miss. Down on strikes is Zach Preisner for the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up Ben Malgiri.
Chapman opting to go with the off-speed on the 2-2 pitch, tailing down and away to the right-handed hitting Zach Preisner, and it's a big out to try to limit the further damage, but you still got 2 in scoring position and a dangerous hitter in Malgiri at the plate.
Yep. Defensively, at least, you can say the same thing out of catchers as you can out of umpires, as that one stopped by fail. And that is that the less you point them out, the better they're doing their job. Typically, you want to go through an entire game without having to question your catcher, or, of course, the guy behind the plate, the 2 guys behind the hitter. Chapman's 1-0. Down. Good stop there by Fail. To be fair to Fail, it has not been all his fault. The Mariners have found a lot of other runs, and of course they got most of the guys on base with hits, 11 of them so far in this one. And actually, a correction here, we have a different catcher into the game.
Yeah, it's Parada who's behind the plate, Kevin Parada. And to be fair, as the pitch misses outside, him and Fail have both had their hands full tonight.
Yeah, a lot of pitches in the dirt, a lot of pitches outside. As it's a 3-0 count here to Ben Malgiri, Hal Hughes looming on deck. Here comes the 3-0. And that will be a late called strike. Count goes to 3-1. The sun just now starting to set here at White House Field. Lights are on. Beautiful tinge of pink in the sky. I'm telling you, if you haven't gotten out here to White House Field and you are within driving distance, you absolutely have to make it a priority. As this ball fouled away, we'll make it a 3-2 count on Ben Malgiri.
Yeah, maybe it's an Eastern Division bias, but really a lot of the quality ballparks are out here on the eastern part of the Cape. Got here at White House, of course, Eldridge Park in Orleans, where we're pleased to travel back to tomorrow. Of course, Veterans Field for these Chatham Anglers.
Absolutely. The payoff pitch. That'll miss outside. Ball 4 issued to Ben Malgiri, and that'll load him up again, this time for Hal Hughes.
This is very reminiscent of the first inning for Chatham at the plate, as we're seeing so many guys put aboard, not via hits, 4 walks in the inning, and already a run in. Could we see more of the same and Hal Hughes put one over the fence for a grand slam just like we saw earlier in the game?
It's certainly not outside of the realm of capabilities, although, again, Hughes not known for his powers. He fouls this one back. And to that point, one of the most iconic plays of the entire 2019 season saw Hal Hughes help send the Mariners to the championship series with a home run over the left field fence. I have never seen the bench more excited in my entire life. Because, again, for Hughes, that is really not his forte. Here comes Chapman's 0-1. And that'll be a called strike 2. So out ahead here of Hal Hughes, who will have to get protective with an 0-2 count. Of course, the option of having a runner come across to score on a pass ball or a wild pitch still very much in play with an 0-2 count. Chapman may be trying to put something in the dirt to get Hughes to chase. Here comes the pitch. That'll miss low. Count goes to 1-2. And I think you're right, Colin. You made a point earlier in this game. I have never seen the bases loaded so many times in one ball game for both sides. Of course, the Mariners have been doing it a majority of the time here down the back nine. The 1-2. Swung on and popped high in the air. This one will chase Chapman over, and towing the line and making the catch is Grice to end the inning. So, Harwich looking for 3 more outs when we come back. The Mariners looking to close out their second consecutive victory. You're listening here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Potentially one last time from White House Field today. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey, a new pitcher coming into the game, making his Cape League debut. One of the new arrivals, Alex Rao, will get his CCBL debut. Colin, and what can we expect out of Mr. Rao here, trying to close this game out despite it being certainly not a save situation?
Well, first of all, it's a good opportunity to make your debut in a 5-run lead. Not a whole lot of pressure here, but Rao, out of Notre Dame, the right-hander, standing at 6'4", 235. So another guy who's got some height on him. Florida native, looking to just kind of punch 3 guys out and send the team home with its second consecutive W.
Yep, tentatively, he will face the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. It'll be Andrew Benefield, John Michael Fail, and Matthew Garcia, but we do see a lot of substitutions at this point. Benefield will keep his spot in the lineup. As you astutely mentioned earlier, Colin, these 3 guys are the ones that have been doing the damage. No sense in changing them out. As again, we get our first look at Alex Rao. From the, well, he'll look in for a sign here, resets himself as the righty kicks and deals. And his first pitch is a swing and a miss on a fastball at 91.
Yeah, Rao has come up big in some big spots for the Fighting Irish this past junior year.
As he gets a pitch that is in there for a called strike 2. Another fastball, this time at 89, catches the zone down and outside.
Set a career high with 8 strikeouts against number 14 Georgia Tech on April 10th.
And on an 0-2, gets a half-hearted check swing that'll foul it away here for Andrew Benefield. Of course, right now, 3 members of the Fighting Irish in the field. As you have Rao pitching. Carter Putz on first. And Preisner, playing it short. The 0-2. 90 miles an hour, just misses down and in. Count goes to 1-2.
Rao only made 1 start in his 13 appearances for his junior year, but he's known to be a good long reliever, so he does have the stamina to go multiple innings.
Yep. As this will miss, count goes even at 2-2. Again, Benefield, Fail, and Garcia represent the final hopes here for the Chatham Anglers. But they have a lot of work to do if they're going to climb back into this one. Check swing, he went around, and the first batter he faces, he retires via a strikeout. Welcome to the Cape League, Alex Rao.
They got him on an indecisive swing by Benefield, who, since that grand slam, really struggling to pick up the ball at the plate. 3 consecutive strikeouts. Good job by the Mariners of adjusting and getting out the power threat from Dallas Baptist.
Absolutely. First pitch in there for a called strike. And again, pounding the zone is Alex Rao.
We got a first at-bat actually in the game for Kevin Parada, who's in for John Michael Fail.
Yep, came in as the defensive substitution. He'll chop one to third. Charging in is Wilkin. Throws, and it can't be dug out over at first base. Turning and taking second here is the aforementioned pinch hitter. And Chatham's got a runner on second with 1 away.
Yeah, just a slow roller, and They're going to actually give him the infield single and then the error that allowed him to advance to second.
Yep, so thanks to that, Kevin Parada stands on second base. Would have been a really tough dig over there at first. And we've got another pinch hitter coming into the game here. It'll be Seth Stevenson.
Some other guys getting an opportunity late in this game. Making sure everyone stays fresh.
So Parada on second, one away here in the inning. No chance for a double play. Rao's first pitch out of the stretch will miss high and outside. And the count goes to 1-0. As we all frantically put our pens to paper trying to catch up the scorebooks here after a wild play. Rao working from the stretch. Checks the runner, brings home the pitch. That'll miss around the letters. Count goes to 2-0. Of course, you wonder if they'll stick with Logan Britt, who right now does stand in the on-deck circle. Britt came up, flew out at his pinch hit appearance back in inning number 7. I think Chatham understands the situation at this point, though, as fouling it away for strike one is Seth Stevenson.
That is Britt in the on-deck circle, so
Yep.
he does appear to be the one to get that chance.
Unless Tom Holliday wants to pull one of those late switches, which we know he does from time to time, but usually closer to or in playoff time. 2 balls, 1 strike. The count right now on Seth Stevenson. Here comes the 2-1. And that will be in there for a called strike just off the outer half of the black. Count goes to 2-2.
A couple of guys down in the M's bullpen breaking out of football. I see Liam Simon down there tossing it around. I think Danny Wilkinson also getting in on it.
We saw a lot of that back in 2019 as well. Good to see the guys staying loose, especially right now with a 5-run lead. Rao's next pitch, big swing and a miss. As coming up empty there is Stevenson. Count goes to 2-2. Looks like he may have gotten a piece of that as well.
Yeah, just nicked it. Hit off of catcher Tatum Levins.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes. The count right now. Alex Rao continuing to work here in his Cape Cod League debut. Looks the runner back to second. The 2-2. Swung on and fouled away. Staying alive here is Seth Stevenson.
Again, this is the last game of this lengthy homestand. Technically a homestand with a trip to Falmouth mixed in there before Harwich heads out on the road for 3 straight.
It's a homestand. Here comes the 2-2. Swung on and fouled away again. It's the closest thing to a homestand you're going to get in the Cape Cod
Right.
Baseball League. And we're talking about a Mariners team playing in their 6th game today. 4 of those have been here at home.
And there would have been another one had it not gotten rained out, the
Yep.
game that was discontinued against Orleans after 2.5 innings.
Which means we're going to be spending a lot of time on the road these next couple of weeks. I hope you got your road tires ready. Here comes the 2-2. Swung on and hit high in the air. Getting way under it is Stevenson. Coming in from left field and making the catch is Beloso for out number 2.
Yeah, Stevenson just missed that one. He squared it up pretty good, but just kind of swung underneath it. Beloso able to track that one down and secure it with 2 hands in shallow left center.
So that will, in fact, bring up Logan Britt. We mentioned before, Britt came in as a pinch hitter. He flew out to center field. He'll get his second chance here, this time against Alex Rao, who was looking to pitch a clean frame here in his CCBL debut. Rao checks the runner to second, brings home the pitch. That one swung on and taken hard at the shortstop. It's bobbled by Preisner, and he will eat it. So an error by the shortstop. We'll see if that's the ruling here. Will be an E6, and that puts runners at the corners for Chatham. Josh Rivera's spot in the lineup due up, and he will keep it.
So that's 2 runners on base that would not be charged to Alex Rao.
And of course, one of the guys not helping him out, although it was a very hard hit ball, is his own shortstop from Notre Dame. Either way, still pretty inconsequential. A 5-run lead for the Mariners. And the first pitch in there for a called strike to Josh Rivera. And Alex Rao, early on in these counts, really working the fastball up and out, but keeping it in that zone.
Yeah, an aggressive approach. You can have that luxury when your team's up 5 runs.
This one will miss just high. Count goes even at 1-1. Mariners fans, be sure to tune in tomorrow. We will be back on the air and on the road, as Colin Casey mentioned. We'll be at Orleans. So another radio broadcast coming up tomorrow here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. The 1-1. This is inside. That one around cleat level. And the count goes to 2-1.
I feel like I have that Orleans roster memorized by heart now. I've been on all three of these games.
I would have to agree. It's a team we have gotten very familiar with. Of course, the schedule with a 40-game season has been a lot different as well, as the count here is 2-1. We'll get back to that after Rao's pitch. That'll miss. Actually, correction, catches the zone. Count goes to 2-2. But typically, you play a team at home, you play them away, you don't play them again for a little bit, but things have gotten awfully shuffled up here with the 40-game season. Alex Rao looking to put the finishing touches here on his first inning in the league. 2 balls, 2 strikes, runners at the corners. Josh Rivera at the plate, the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That will do it as the M's secure their second victory in a row. They are back to 500. The Harwich Mariners move to 3-3, and more importantly, they knock Chatham down a peg. Chatham drops to 3-1. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll put the finishing touches on it. Don't go anywhere. The Harwich Mariners postgame show starts next. You're listening here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back here at White House Field to put the finishing touches on things, Tyler Henry, Colin Casey. Well, Colin, before the game, I said we've seen the pitching, we've seen the hitting. This would be a good day for Harwich to put it all together, and I would say they did just that. 11 hits on 11 runs today, and they get the victory. Pitching looked pretty good as well.
Certainly did. One rough inning, 5 of those 6 runs coming in the first, the grand slam, of course, but credit to Nick Cinnacola. He really battled after that rough inning. Just made one more mistake in the final 4 innings of that start. All things considered, not a bad outing for him. And how about Dalton Smith out of the bullpen with 3 innings, allowing just the 1 hit, striking out 3. Obviously, the big headline is Brock Nelson's grand slam, his 5 RBIs, and the offense as a whole. But you got to give a lot of love to Smith in this bullpen for doing a quality job of keeping Chatham off the board once this game progressed into the middle and later innings.
Yep, a huge grand slam by Brock Wilkin got the Harwich Mariners started, and from there, and a barrage of offense. They get 11 runs on 11 hits. Final numbers look like this for the Chatham Anglers. 6 runs on 4 hits, 1 error, 5 runners left on base. For the Mariners, as we mentioned, 11-11, 2 errors, 10 runners left on base. The win goes to Dalton Smith, and deservedly so. He pitches a gem today. 3 innings, 3 strikeouts, allows 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 hit batter. No runs come across on his watch, and the loss goes to Cy Nielsen as the Harwich Mariners advance on the season to 3-3. Chatham again falls to 3-1. So don't go anywhere. We will be back tomorrow. Be sure to tune in on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. We'll have a game at Eldridge Park in Orleans. And again, you've been watching the Harwich Mariners. They get the win today, 11-6, and you've been listening here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.